Blaised. Blaised. Get Blaised. Get Blaised. Blaised. Get Blaised. Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of the Get Blaised interview show. I can't wait for this one. This is one that's 5 years, 6 years, 7 years in the making, to be honest with you. And it's going to be a talk mostly centered around WWE2K23, and 22 and 19 and 18 and all that stuff. The video game brought to us by 2K. However, we're going to talk a little bit about being a content creator. Two of my favorite. I'm not just blowing smoke because these guys are going to be on here. We're ball busters, just like you look in the chat already. There's a poll. And I know I'm going to lose this one. So whose balls will be busted the most here tonight? Will it be Pete? Will it be Vince? Will it be Blaise? And I'm pretty much taking the L already for that one. I'm willing to do that. We're going to have some fun, though. We're going to talk about becoming a content creator, the things we do here on YouTube. I've brought in a lot of different content creators that I enjoy watching over the years here to do this. And for those who have been here before, I've never planned on having my face on the screen. It was all Blaised Radio, about my voice, about me bringing people together to do this. EFED is what people call Electronic Federation of Wrestling. Everyone creates their own characters. I've gone through this spiel in the other interviews. I'm going to cut it a little short, believe it or not. I like to ramble. You guys know I don't never shut the fuck up. It's three of us that love to talk, so this is going to be a great one. This is just going to be banter between three dudes that have a passion for what we do and love bringing people together. Last year on July 24th, I brought in Troxel Sports Talk and Gridiron Blitz, two guys that do football watch-alongs. That was the first one. We set the bar really high, had a blast. Big Daddy Beard, a gamer here on YouTube, I brought on. Wrestling Days, a man with over hundreds of thousands of followers here, and I really enjoy his wrestling content. He started out doing toy hunts, so that's how he grew his channel. Jackknife Finnegan, another gamer here on mostly GTA stuff, one of the funniest dudes on YouTube. Had a blast with him. Mitch Koski and Burgang 31 from the Eagles. territory, Hardcore Sports Network. I had a blast with those guys. Their Eagles had a great year. Shout out to them. And then recently I started the second wing and did House of X Entertainment, Leo and Teddy. Happy birthday to Leo X out there. Just had his birthday. I think it was yesterday or today. I think it's today. Happy birthday to Leo. Happy birthday to Goddess. Happy birthday to Gauzy. Happy birthday to everyone who's crawled out of a vagina today, whenever year it was. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, everybody, on the day they came out, I guess you could say. Let's talk about who's here now. And oh no, the Wild-Eyed Yeti is here. We're fucked. We're fucked. Just a warning, we're not PG. We're going to have fun with it tonight, but big shout out to the Yeti here. Thanks for being a member, supporting the channel. Killshot Matt Storm is in the building. Wally. We got Wally here. Crushing Kelly. Pete's oh, that's easy. That's hard to say fast. Pete's Bitch Fest. I don't want to see Bitch Face, or because I'm going to get smacked all the way from Canada. Or Pete's Bitch Fest. That's tough to say. Hey, we've heard him. We know we like to rant and ramble around here. Chase Bishop's in the building. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. Logan, thanks for being a member, supporting the channel as well. Jay Rock's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. We got members of Pillow to Post, members of One Nation Network, the Blaised Radio Network. We're all coming together tonight. Odds. What's the odds of that, Odds? How about it? What's up? Triple Beat is in the building. He was doing some creation streams earlier. So anybody who's out there who's a content creator on YouTube, more specifically someone who utilizes these 2K wrestling games, well, works around them best we can to bring content to everybody out there. Jesse Jackhammer Nation is in the building. And I know a lot of you guys in the chat have your own federations, have your own groups of federations, et cetera, et cetera. This thing has grown. I mean, when I bring Pete on, me and him had this specific conversation now 6 years ago, saying, you know, there's 20 different channels out there that are doing this stuff. And I said, and we both agreed, 4 or 5 years from now, there'll be hundreds. And literally there are hundreds of different people doing the EFED thing, different ways to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. Don't let anybody tell you that. Do it however you want. Have fun with it. Turmoil's in the house. There he is. Great to see everyone piling in. Jamar's in the building. Jamon Scott's up in here. Everybody's saying what's up to each other. That's what it's all. Uh-oh, Monstar's here. Show's over. Let me turn it off. I don't even give a shit what Monstar has to say. Canadians are surrounding me, man. I'm in trouble. Jeff Matthews in the building. What's up, my friend? Great to see you. Oh, man, I love seeing all you guys pounding in for this. It's going to be good. Like I said, we'll ask a little bit of questions about how they started being content creator. What do they like about it? What do they hate about it? And then we're going to dive in to 2K23. I have a little slideshow. Vince is going to get us up to date on some things as well. But these are legit, like I said, not blowing smoke up their ass just because they're here on the show today, and I've done this every time. Two of my favorite content creators on the planet here on YouTube. Pete is, although he doesn't like to admit it, he is responsible for attracting me into this. He's the first one I heard doing it here on YouTube and made me say, I'd love to do that. That sounds like a bunch of fun. And it wasn't just pressing the live button and letting the computer go at it. It was the interaction with the chat. It was meeting people all over. It was cracking jokes on each other and getting people, and we all talk about it, all of us showrunners, escapism. Get away from the real world. No matter what's going on in your real life, forget about it for a couple hours and come hang out with us. Yeah, Monstar's bragging about playing with a woman for 10 hours. Only in a video game, Sean. Only in a video game. You enjoy it. Get all the lotion and tissues you need for that one there, buddy. So a lot of people are having success with the new game. A lot of people are having issues with the new game. We deal with it every year. I started doing it way back when it was mail order. You open up your wrestling magazine. Yes, kids, back in the day, there was a thing called magazines. Remember those? And if you liked them, you subscribed to them and got them every week, every month. Same thing as YouTube. Don't make YouTube so difficult, folks. And I hope that everyone out there takes something away from today. Not necessarily from me, maybe from Pete, maybe from Vince, maybe from someone in the chat. I always learn something from my chat. That's one of the things I've learned is to have them engage as much as possible. Some people in the chat, you can't let them have too much control, but that's all the balance of being managing and the juggling here as a content creator. Virtual pleasures matter. Of course they do, Monstar. You got to get your jollies somewhere, my friend. More power to you. I order mails. That's right, Yeti. Thanks. So you got a bunch of ball busters in the chat. I'm a ball buster as well. From mailing in my move set to programming this video game now, it seems every year, except for 21. we had the best wrestling game in 21 that we've ever had. There was no problems with it. No errors, no glitches, no freezes. 2K21 was the perfect game. Just don't fucking release one, I guess. At least some, yeah. Okay, Monstar. You know, I was going to invite you on here too, but I'll get you another time if you're up to it. Bust my balls on my own channel. Okay, I'll see you. Well, these two guys are good at doing it too, so get ready for it. From mail order, it was all on paper. If you guys remember, I would write up a match. This move started it, then this move, then that move. I would never claim to be that great at it, but what I did was bring in managerial skills and things I learned from the real world. And I had a team of writers. I had a team of creators that helped me figure out logos. I had a team of people to help me with storylines because I couldn't do it all on my own. And that's what I wanted to bring here on YouTube is, and I know I deal with a lot of issues because I have 87 different people on my roster. I asked for that problem. Other people do it with 10, 20, 30, and more power to them. It's probably, you know, you have more control over stories. I can't do a lot of stories. But I've seen, I try to work some in because half of my roster, and I've said this all the time, ever since Chance was doing his conversations with Caw, I see it as 3 levels of interaction. You got people way up here who are way into the game, love wrestling, want to role play, love to be creative, all aboard with the storylines, and they're all about it. You got people in the middle that want to play a little bit and get a little bit into storylines, and some are just happy to be there, just happy to be part of the show. They don't care what you do with their character. A lot of people are super invested in it, which I agree. And then some people don't care what you do with it, and they just stop when they can. You know, casual viewers. That's why I try to keep it as open as I possibly can. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are, how you are. You're welcome on my channel, on my show. And if I can help other people, that's why I started these interviews. Not about me. I know I've been running my damn mouth for 13 minutes already, but I want to give a preface for anybody who hasn't seen my channel or doesn't know why I'm here. This is it. This is to bring people together. And these two guys have been an inspiration to me in so many ways for what I do. Help me realize just to roll with the punches, get thicker skin, all that good stuff. And hopefully you guys can learn from this show, and so can I. We'll all learn from each other, and I'm guarantee you're going to laugh. So from my professional life to here on YouTube in the last 5 years, once I really started to grow, and I realized I had a little bit of pull, a little bit of power with the community, which was kind of weird because I'm a humble person, but I figured I needed to open up what I do more so I can help more people. So these first set of interviews were a hit. You know, I met a whole bunch of people from their communities. They meet a whole bunch of people from my communities. Next thing you know, we're showing up on each other's live streams. That's a community. And I coined it the Digital Wrestling Syndicate back in the day because I didn't want to group a certain group of individuals together. I wanted to generalize it for everybody to feel a part of it, whether you just press the record button and do a recorded show, whether you go live and just use the WWE game models, whether you create your own characters and have fun with it. And there's so many examples of all the different ways to do it. Pete does the efed thing with created characters. He does great with storylines and things like that. You guys know that. Vince does some of the best voice impersonations, as we've heard before, as well as, you know, go back to the old announcers. I think one thing that all three of us have in common, and we have a lot of differences too, is we want to bring a real life TV wrestling feel to you here on YouTube. We want to give you an alternative to what you're watching in WWE or AEW or whatever. We want to give you more creative control of saying stuff in the chat and affecting the game, because we understand you're going to lose 90% of the time in an all custom EFED. I said it yesterday on my show, 30-man rumble, 29 losers. So get used to losing or you're not going to have fun. I'm not going to name names, but there's some people out there that have so much fun losing. That inspires me too. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, you're going to play along with the game and the story and just keep yourself involved. I call myself a dungeon master because this is like Dungeons and Dragons. It's a journey we want to take you on, whether it's a storyline or head for the championship or, you know, new people coming in, whatever it is. So this interview series I have structured in 4 categories. We're going to buzz through a couple of them. the third one, we're definitely going to spend a little more time on it and talk all about this game that we're all sinking our teeth into. So hopefully you guys are doing okay on creations, not a ton of problems. We're going to talk a lot of that out today. I feel like a therapist here today. It's like, welcome to 2K Therapy with your therapist, Blaise McCoy. Yes, I am a 2K, and I am obsessed with 2K, and I spend hundreds of dollars every year for the same fucking game that still doesn't work. And we're all crazy. We're all doing what we want to do to have fun. So let's figure it out. Let's bring them on, and let's go through piece by piece what it is to do this and how we do it, why we do it, and some rants, get stuff off our chest, talk to the chat, and just have a good time with it. This one's not going to be as structured as my other ones. I normally have a bunch of things I want to cover with each one because, like I said, as much as I can sit here and talk for now 16 minutes in a fucking row, I could chit chat with these two dudes for endless hours. And I have in the past. Love them to death. Two great dudes behind the camera, on the camera, creatively. And I'm glad to bring them on. Like I said, from Facebook, Wrestler Unstoppable, which is a game where you have a little more control behind the scenes with your moves and pick the moves, but you don't get to watch a match. Creatively, that's where people started doing entrances for the 2K games on YouTube. And I would see one or two and be like, that's pretty damn cool. That's pretty damn cool. I have the game. Let me try it out. I used to take screenshots of just the rosters and put them on my Facebook page for just to give some people a little visual of what that character looks like. Because back in the day, it was all text. Now we do have a game that I try to be as tolerable as I can, because I know we're going to have to manipulate it. I know we can't use this match. We can't use that match. We can't, have too many of these or too many of those. So this is where I want us all to be able to, like, I just shared AI versus AI sliders from, oh God, I want to give credit to him. I shared AI sliders. I want to give credit. I need to give credit to him because I just shared his stuff out. Wacky Cat, WACKKATT here on YouTube. I believe one of his sliders from last year to year before, the custom sliders to give you a realistic feel, were on there. And we got more AI sliders this year. We're going to talk all about that, everything that entails the game. But after, yes, exactly, odds, escapism. And finding people like you and Triple Beat and Turmoil and Wally and these people that come around, and it doesn't matter what hours of the day we go live. And I think I can speak for Pete and Vince on this one. We appreciate all of you so much. Anyone that's ever stepped into any of our chats. You could be anywhere, but you're here. And that means a lot to people who put in work and really work behind the scenes to be a content creator. So as I'm watching these people doing these videos, I come across a man named Pete Wall doing Pillow to Post and Renegade Wrestling Organization. And I was hooked. I was hooked on it, thinking I'd love to do that. And without further ado, let's bring him on and talk about it. What's happening, my man?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good.
The amount of dick stroking you were doing there for a bit, I was about to start tweaking my own nipples,
I'm glad the camera cuts off right about here, then, I guess. So for those that don't know, me and Pete not only do the YouTube stuff, but we've had a pretty interesting relationship outside, personally. We've got to know each other personally. We've had our ins and outs, our ups and downs, as any relationship goes. But the one thing that remains true, and I like I just said before I brought you on, I think I speak for you too, is being able to have that escapism from the real world and interacting with all these people.
That was my biggest reason for actually starting it. Escapism for me, actually, at the beginning. And then when I got to know the people in the chat and the people that were joining onto the show, I realized a lot of them were dealing with a lot of the same issues I am.
Yeah.
And so it was helping them as well. And it became more about the viewers than it was doing it myself.
Yeah.
I've talked about this many times. Like, it'd take me sometimes an hour just to hit that go live button, and I, pardon me, like the way I'm looking,
You're
I
fine.
don't have a monitor yet. So if I'm looking up, there's a reason for it. So escapism was the biggest thing. And, there's so many great people out there.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the good and the bad here with some of the questions I got. I mean, I've talked to you about it. I've talked to everybody else here in these other interviews. I used to be a retail manager, so I've done a lot of interviews in my time, and I didn't think about it for after a couple of years. And Pete knows better than anyone out here. I was really leery at first. I had thin skin. I was afraid to put myself out there, but I wanted to have fun. I wanted to be wild and wacky. When I heard someone say the things I used to hear for this guy, man, you sound like a real commentator. You should be in WWE. Then I started hearing some of that, and I'm going, I can affect people. And the one person I do call out names, I don't call out names, but I use Cowboy John as an example a lot.
Great guy.
Friend of ours since day one, and a man who is in a wheelchair and has a lot of problems. Physically, emotionally. He can't even see that well, but he used to do his own show. And he told me all about it once. He's like, I can't see the TV. I don't know what I did. And I'm like, but that just touched me so deep that someone that has issues still puts himself out there, and he didn't care. He just there to have fun. And I've said it a million times. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are, or how you are, you're welcome here. That means everyone. Black, white, gay, straight, I don't like to say disabled, because I've met so many people. I mean, the autism spectrum I knew about already, but there's so many that are out there that I think they're geniuses. And you think about it, once you see people that are on our shows all the time, you realize who's homebound or they're at home a lot, or, you know, their special needs or whatever as well, because they're there all the time. And you're thinking, how the fuck is this person? You know, every time I go live, they're there. So, and to be able to give those people an outlet too was big for me, because it gave me some self-worth coming back.
Well, that was the biggest thing I realized is, like, I've got my own health issues, and there's times I don't want to be outside. I don't want to be around other people. But doing this here, you know, on YouTube and throwing down with the chat while calling the show, it helped, you know. So when I'm having a bad day, or when I've had a panic attack or something that stressed me out, I'll go live. I don't give any notification anymore. It's like, you know what, throw it out there.
I used to call myself a people person who hates people.
Yep. I'm a guy that goes out of his way to help anyone that needs it. It's just there's a limitation of how much I can deal with people.
Well, and that's another thing we're going to get to, because there's good and bads about what we do, and there's things we've had to encounter that I'm sure we wish we wouldn't. But one thing I'm glad I encountered is then I hear fucking Jesse the Body Ventura on a stream. I hear Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair on a stream. What the fuck? You remember National Wrestling Federation?
Oh, yeah.
Randy, he did the same thing. He did all old school stuff.
Yep.
And me and Pete, one thing that got us together was old 80s, old hardcore wrestling from back in the day. And it brought us together. And I was like, then I'm hearing Vince McMahon at a commentary, and I'm hearing this guy at commentary, and this guy, and Jim Ross at commentary. I'm like, who the fuck are all these guys? It was one guy. I call him Voice McSham, because he brings the entertainment. He brings an alternative to Impact, WWE, AW, RO, anything out there. He's got a really creative thing he's doing now. I can't wait to talk about too. Mr. Vince McSham, what's happening?
Well, wait a minute. Did I hear you say something proper? Did you say this was not a PG show?
Amen, brother.
Well, that is fucking cool, man.
Hey, man, Vince, he has a gift, and you're sharing your gift with everybody. I hope you're doing well today, Vince.
I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
This is like a dream come true to me. I mean, I keep saying about blowing smoke, and Pete already busted my balls. Seriously, to have both you guys on at the same time to talk shop about what we do, it's a blessing. I don't want to start rambling, because I'll cover things we need to cover. Let's go back to the basics. We already started with Pete. This is Back to the Basics, Blaze Basics, with my man Pete and my man Vince right here on YouTube. I was going to do like a game show and be like good cop, bad cop type thing. And now, speaking of game shows, Vince does one with old school. And I popped on there once and I said, I don't want to be a contestant. He goes, well, let's do something clever. And I showed him one of the old magazines I still had. And he goes, you come on as a guest, you end up being the host. I'm like, I'm down. I love being game show host, silly, wacky, corny bullshit. And that's basically The last time I was on Vince's channel was a blast. You guys, in the description of this show, right on the bottom, there's the links to both their Twitters, their YouTubes, Pete and Vince. If you guys aren't subscribed or following them, you're doing it wrong. Trust me right now. And I don't validify or back a lot of people, but these two I do until the bitter end. Two friends to the end right here for sure. Pete started it when we talked about how he became a content creator and why. Vince, give me a little bit of a little synopsis of how you got into being a content creator here on YouTube.
I fell into it.
It's kind of the way we all did it in one way or another. Yeah.
Tripped and fell and stuck my dick in it. No.
Wait, Vince, before you start, and I know a lot of people out there are going to appreciate it, please give us a little closer shot of that shirt again. Stand up. Look at this shirt. It has all the old school legends on it. Look at that shirt, dude.
It's the action figures, though, from the Hasbro
it's the
line.
It's the Hasbro figures of every old school. There's Piper. That is so dope. You're going to tell me where you got that from. I might have to get one of those myself.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the link. I think Jay might be getting one, too.
Yeah, it's really cool.
As soon as I saw it on YouTube, I was like, getting that.
Yeah, a lot of wrestling fans are into wrestling shirts. That's like a big deal with wrestlers. Sure. I don't have a lot. I got a couple old shirts, but that is gold. Thanks. So before my little sidebar, you fell into it, Vince. So tell us a little more now. Vince has been doing the EFED thing for 19 years.
Yeah.
True. Here on YouTube.
I didn't realize I was like when YouTube actually started. They started like late 04 and into 05. I thought they were around a couple of years before that. So I didn't even realize I was that early into the game. Basically, what was going on in my life at that time is I was doing a lot of coaching. And I had a team that we were a dedicated team, played all year long. And then the high school season, of course, that's what it was all for. So I started getting into videotaping the games to, number one, see what I'm missing. And number two, show the players what they're doing wrong, because it really helped things out a lot. So I got myself a nice MacBook and decided to work on video editing. And I wanted to learn how to do it before the season, so I started doing it with wrestling video games for fun. I made a goofy little thing about at that time TNA was new and up and coming, so I had TNA and Samoa Joe invading the WWE on Monday Night Raw, and just it was like a 7-minute video, and that was it. I was going to be done. I just wanted to try it, and everyone's like, "Oh man, I can't wait for the next one." And I'm like, "There ain't gonna be a next one. This is it." What next one? Shit! Now I got work to do.
that's falling into it. And I mean, what is
and
he?
Here we are.
And I hate to say anything good came out of COVID and the pandemic, but so many more people now are live streaming, doing Zoom calls for work and homeschooling and a lot of internet remote stuff that they said could never be done. And then all of a sudden, when you got to. Just like the food service industry that I worked a little bit before in retail before that, they said we couldn't do that much delivery. We can't do stuff on demand, but now they have to, and they had to. And, and things change, and there's so many more people doing this now. That's why I really wanted to dig deep and have us talk about what worked for us, what didn't work for us, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. And most of this first basic segment, just from me running my fucking mouth, and our first initial conversations here, just very shortly, we've already covered it. So we know what we do here. We take created characters in this video game. We broadcast it. We let the AI go at it. We have the chat to get involved with. Pre-planned matches, pre-recorded or not, doesn't matter how you people do it. We're all going to talk about it. But now the second segment, real quick, is called What You Like. So let's dig a little more deeper before we get into all the 2K23 stuff we want to bust everyone balls about. Let's find out a little bit more about Vince and Pete right here. What You Like. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mine, man.
I'll take the ugly.
I had to think about it. Anyhow, we talked about being content creators here on YouTube, and this isn't really about blowing smoke up of any of our asses, because I think another thing that I've learned from Pete and Vince, pretty humble to the core. I mean, we're not guys bragging and boasting, begging people to subscribe, begging people to hit the like button, begging for money. It's more about the community and having fun for us. And I really want to find out what you like and what you don't like about it real quick. So as the first question, and we'll start with Vince on this one, because we kind of already touched a bit on it with Pete. What is your favorite part about being a content creator, Vince?
It gives me an outlet. Again, as a kid growing up, I don't know any of us wouldn't have loved to either be a professional wrestler. And if you knew like myself that you don't have the physical talent to do that, then to run your own wrestling organization is the next best thing. And this kind of gives me the opportunity to do that. I don't have to worry about contracts. I don't have to worry about press scrums. Everything that happens is what I say is going to happen pretty much, and nobody's bitching about it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. We're getting some subscribers bound. Definitely check out the other channels. Pete just came back. Vince has been on a roll with what he's doing recently. We will talk about that a little more specifically. And Count knows a little bit more about you. See, we get down and dirty in here. Vince is, hey now.
Oh, damn. Was that you? Oh, shit. Three tequilas and everything's fair game, man.
Exactly.
Yep. There you go.
So when we talked to Pete a little bit already earlier about why you do it and what your favorite part is. So now, Pete, let me flip the coin. And this, I think, very similar experiences that we've already talked about behind the scenes. What's the worst part about being a content creator?
Knowing what you want to do and you're limited to the game. That's my biggest challenge, because I'm very much about the booking aspect of it and the storyline.
Yes.
I love the storylines. I try and fit everyone, as many people into a storyline as I can. I'm always thinking of a new way. And then, like I've said this many times, if they made a wrestling game that was actually geared towards the booking aspect of it, I think content creators like Vince McSham, you, and all the others, they'd find a lot more ways to actually set their show up, especially storyline wise.
Yeah.
Like a guy like me that's right into it. That's the limitations of it. That's what gets me. To me, when you pick universe mode, it should be done from the booking aspect of it. So you're picking your winners, you're picking your losers, and that way, a guy that said maybe losing quite substantially throughout the season, and then you're able to turn that character around and start building up that that climb.
With the new game, we're picking our nose and picking our asses more than we're doing anything.
It's all about the limitations, but we have fun with it. We work around it. We have a gag. I don't know how Vince does it, because he reenacts a lot of old school stuff as well.
Yeah. The newest thing he's doing is really dope. And I dig creativity. That's why I tell everybody too, if we all did this the same way, it'd be boring as shit.
I wouldn't be doing that no more.
Yeah. But for me, before we get to Vince, for me, the worst part of being a YouTube content creator is the anonymity of the chat. I wish there was we could hold them a little bit more responsible, a little more accountable on who they really are. Like, I can make the avatar of Vince, my channel's name, pillow to post and have a picture that Pete has, and I can go in other people's chats, act like I'm you, and no one will ever know. There's so many things like that I can't stand. You're never going to get rid of the people that want to troll you or be assholes or come in and tell you suck or this and that. And but to me, I do the best I can with help from others. That's why I bring so many in and pick your brains.
But you've also seen the way I do it with those trolls, and I've had a lot of them that end up subscribing because we know how to work them.
Yep, have fun with them. Yep. Use their name, crack a joke, try to flip them.
They're waiting for that bad reaction, and once they got it, they own you.
Well, I used to compare it to when I was a manager at a retail place, and I teach my employees to go sell. Let me use cell phones as an example. I worked for Verizon. If someone comes in and goes, I want that phone with that plan and those accessories ready to go, boom, boom, boom. Here's my money. Good, gone. That's called clerking. You're not really selling anything. But if you get someone that comes in and goes, you sold me a piece of shit. This company sucks. You're an asshole. You treated me rude. I'll never buy anything from this company again. And you can turn that one into someone who buys something like, hey, I understand where you're coming from. Let's talk about it. And then have them understand where you're coming from, meet somewhere in between, and flip that customer. That's gold here on YouTube when people are like that. Jen the Wolverine is in the building. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. But, the fact that, you have to deal with that stuff. That's where it comes. I said earlier, I got thicker skin because of it. I didn't let that shit bother me. I'm a very emotional person. I've cried on stream. I have no shame in my game. I am who I am. And I've always tell everybody, just don't be afraid to be yourself. Now, at the same time, we're doing fantasy wrestling. So don't be afraid to be completely someone opposite, because you can be yourself here in this world, or you can be someone completely different. We got a lot of men that run women wrestlers, women that run men wrestlers, which is fine. We got people that, are behind the scenes and don't do anything. People that are behind the scenes and will help you until the cows come home. I used to talk about our friend Mark Caliber come into my streams, and after every match, he puts the time of the match in the chat. Time of the match, 6 minutes, 5 seconds. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't ask you to do that. And he keeps doing it. And I'm like, Statman Mark Caliber has the time of the match at 4 minutes. I'm throwing him right in there, giving him credit, making him part of the show, giving him credit for that. I was like, that's brilliant. I never asked for it. This is another one. The dislikes. Me and Sean have talked about it a lot. When I had 9 or 10 or 20 dislikes every show, my concern wasn't that some stranger was coming in, dropping dislikes. My worry was someone in my community wanted to get back at me. Someone in my community wanted to ruin me. And sure enough, I've come through that a few times, and I don't expect everyone to like how I do it. I don't want to expect everyone to like how everyone does it. You can't get along with everybody. But these two guys, Pete's he's a writer. He knows stories. He writes books, for goodness sakes. Vince, he's a professional at what he does. When you go to his shows, it feels like you're watching a fucking wrestling show. These guys are way better than what I do at this, and I'll give them total credit, and I don't give a fuck what you two say. These guys are amazing at what they do. I love you both like brothers. But
I don't know if I'm going to agree with that we're better than you. I think we're all doing our thing. And again, what you do, I couldn't do, because I've taken some stuff from you the last time we were talking about how you have all those index cards and all, because I thought this whole time you just had a great fucking memory.
No, and a match card for everyone. I mean, here's my list of questions for you guys tonight. I'm one of those type of people. I shared this with people before because I thought it was important. The fact that, I have everything that someone's done right in front of me. I mean, let's be real. I don't memorize all this shit. I'm 49 years old. I can't remember what I ate for dinner yesterday. So you want to know what their moves are, the titles that they've held. I have it all right in front of me. I want to make this as easy as I can.
Yeah, but then I've listened and I've learned from you, so I got my notes too.
I would go to a couple shows and be like, I don't know who the champions are. You might have 10 champions on your show. There's no way to convey that to the audience all the time. So that's why I started that little website. Hey, go to the website, check it out. All the champs are there, the roster's there, and that's going to answer like half of your questions, because I'm not here to answer all your fucking questions. Hey, big happy birthday to Goddess of Pain today. Yeah, see, she's already putting you to task, Pete.
Yeah.
It's all too well. So,
I got to send it out there because we both know her well.
Yes, she's a great human being.
Thank goodness your mother shot you out of her womb this day, 50, 60 years ago.
Oh, geez, she's going to kill you.
He said for you to bust his balls.
Yeah, Goddess is 25 today, everybody.
Yeah, she's 65.
No, but CK, that's a new friend I just made through Stompy Collins, a guy who I found on here. This is a good example of how I wanted to spread the love. I would meet someone who does a show, and then in their chat, I want to engage with their people as well. I met CK. I met Nova. I see him posting about my show and loving it. I can't express how much it makes me feel good to hear people say that they like my show. It was very weird for me at first to hear it because I didn't have confidence at that time. I gained my confidence from people like these two guys and other people that I've conversed with here on YouTube. Who says that you can't meet someone that you're never going to meet in real life and have a bond that's inseparable? And I have that bond with a lot of people here. Pete, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, what used to get me was everyone would say I was like a cross between Gordon Soley, Jesse Ventura, and Gorilla Monsoon. Like they all had fucked one another and had shot out a baby, And then I tuned in to Vince McSham's channel, and it's like, wow, this guy's got it fucking down. It's like, holy shit.
Close your eyes and imagine, bro. That's why, if you can't see him talking, you think it's Jesse the Body or whatever doing it.
Well, that's when I started telling people, hey, actually go listen to this guy. He actually, he knows how to fucking sound like them.
See, to me,
we were doing that since we were kids, man. We were always mimicking. We'd watch Saturday morning wrestling.
Yep.
We go out in the streets, and next thing you know, we're repeating everyone's promos.
To me, my radio comes from Casey Kasem, top 40. Casey Kasem, top 40. That's my radio. I throw that little twang on there. Pete, you always reminded me of Wolfman Jack.
Oh, yeah.
That's the dude who made me think about Wolfman Jack when I heard Pete. I'm like,
Ooh.
Wolfman Jack is a wrestling commentator.
I used to be able to do a great impersonation of the guy, but I haven't done it in years, so I'm not even going to attempt it.
And then all the Boogie Woogie Man comparisons when you really had the beard going.
I love doing that, man.
The Boogie Woogie Man. So, and old school wrestling is what, we all three of us try to give that old school wrestling feel in three different ways. My LTD has always been pre-apocalyptic, like 50 years from now. Pete does like post-apocalyptic, like really out there, end of the world-ish type stuff, which I love because you got to really let go of reality. Like people come in and be like, I'm from Scotland. And he goes, no, there's no Scotland anymore. You got to use
that some bitch up.
You really got to let your imagination go on shows like that. And it feeds my fire. Like when I watch Pete since he's come back, he was gone for a while, and I missed you like to death, brother. I'm so glad you're back, giving us the entertainment and sharing your gift that God gave you, bro, for real. And because it helps a lot of people. You might not hear that, but it does. It helps a lot of people. I know we're doing this to help ourselves as well because it does make us feel a little better, but you're touching a lot of people. Both of you are really affecting people's lives, and no one's going to tell you that. So in this interview session, I'm going to tell you that, so you hear it.
Don't let Yeti know that I'm touching people because I didn't
I
get touched. Wait a minute.
Before we end the what you like and get into the real meat of the conversation, I don't think I've ever asked this question to either one of you guys, and we'll start with Pete on this one since we're going. Favorite superhero and villain?
Oh. Hot damn! Jesus.
I'm Spider-Man to the death. Spider-Man's my favorite.
You're talking comic books, wrestling, or just overall?
Comic books, cartoons.
Does
Spider-Man, Batman.
Question?
What's that?
I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, whatever.
I always disliked Superman. And my brain worked a weird way because it always reverted back to wrestling as well. When it came to Superman, he was like, they eat your or you take your vitamins, drink your milk kind of deal,
Yeah.
It was like,
sounds like Hulk
all American good boy. It fucking pissed me off.
Goody two-shoes superhero, yeah.
Where's the attitude,
They gave it to him nowadays.
Yeah. Superhero, I kind of lean to the darker side, so it'd be more of a Batman type character, but
gotcha.
I'd have to say more Wolverine because he kind of fits my style.
Yes. I'm a Michael Keaton Batman guy too. If you want to argue Batman, Michael Keaton's the best one ever. I'm sorry. You can disagree or agree. Let's see what out here we got. Punisher and Batman. We got Batman and Joker.
Villain? I don't know. I love all the villains. They all got their own quirks and mannerisms, so the all-time favorite I think everyone has is probably Joker. And I'm not talking about the movie Jokers. I'm talking about, the sadistic motherfucker that they started bringing out in the comic books.
Pete loves being the bad guy. I think that's why me and you get along so well when I'm in your chat and stuff, because I try to be the good guy and you always try to bash my fucking head back into the dirt. Michael Keaton, everyone's agreeing on that one. Good. Okay. Yeah. And you can like someone else if you want. I'm never anyone to tell anyone how to do anything or what to like and what not to like. So what about you, Vince? Favorite superhero villain?
I grew up with Christopher Reeves, the Superman.
Nice.
And
me too.
You will believe a man can fly. And it's like, boy, wouldn't it be cool if you could?
Yeah. I mean, if I would have any of the superheroes' powers, it probably would be Superman.
Yeah,
I mean, Batman was just a rich guy with gadgets.
Yep.
Spider-Man, he got infected. He had a fucking disease. Spider-Man has a disease. He just mutated into something good. But Superman, he was just all powerful.
Yep.
So I can definitely follow that one.
I was definitely into that.
This is my favorite question in this segment because it can be answered in pretty much any different way. We'll start with Vince and go backward on this one. What is the best comment you've ever got on a YouTube video, either in the live chat or like a DM about what you do? Your favorite comment you ever got from someone?
Damn.
It's a good question.
I mean, there have been some. And by the way, my favorite villain was Harley Quinn.
Oh, there you go. Yes, my bad. Good one too.
Yeah, I enjoy.
We love bad bitches.
Yep.
Who does?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything specific that jumps out. I mean, people have just been really nice in general. I mean, you were mentioning earlier the trolls that can be involved, things like that. That's why anytime I do a live stream, you have to be a subscriber to comment.
Only, yep.
It's
good
like,
way to
I'm
get a
not
couple
gonna
extra. Yep. If they really want to
You're
troll
gonna
you,
waste 5
you're
minutes of your life at least before you can
gonna-
comment. Okay.
and
Then
you're
if
gonna
it
help out
means
my
that
numbers.
much to you, we'll see you on the other side, and then we'll kick you out.
I dig it.
If you get past me, then my boy J Rocks is going to throw you to the curb.
But it doesn't have, I mean, I told this to someone else on this question, on this interview. It doesn't have to be a specific comment. Maybe it's a story about someone who said something nice to you.
I was just thinking, as you said, that Jay and I had a conversation recently, and he said something, it was about a month ago, maybe a little less, where he said, you're responsible for like 4 or 5 of us doing what we're doing now. And I was like, what are you talking about? What the hell I do? It's like, because we were watching this, and we kind of like what you were saying earlier, we were watching what you were doing. We like it. We wanted to do something of our own. And it was based on, so like this guy, Ancient Clown, apparently, because of I thought they already had their channels. I thought they were already doing stuff. So, yeah, that was it just sat me down for a minute while I thought about that. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
Well, you said it earlier. I mean, when we're kids, we do the voices, watching wrestling. Oh my God. You do that high pitched back of your voice. Oh, and then he got it. They're not really a commentating voice, but you're trying to make it seem like it. And everyone, I mean, most people, I guess, maybe not everyone that has wrestling characters, you'd sit there with them and you'd wrestle them. You'd make them, you'd have your dream matches. And that's what we're doing. First, it started out like, hey, I want to see Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega, so we can make that happen. But then I mean, the created characters digging really deep into, starting from scratch and making someone, either someone else's idea or your idea. That's where it really blossoms, in my opinion, because you're really taking creation to the next level. And in the next segment, I do want to talk a little bit about what you started doing recently, Vince, because I'm intrigued by it. But Pete, before we go on, the best comment you've ever got, either on a live stream or in a DM.
Wow. I've had a lot. You know I have.
Yes, I know. We can sit here and talk for 4 hours about it, like we had before.
I think my favorite comment was, I can't remember who said it. It was a long time ago. They put in the chat, "Thank you. Really needed this today." And that says a lot.
Yeah.
It to me, like, I kind of connect with a lot of them because I know they're having the same issues as I am. So, hearing that from them, that I helped them a little bit that day just for a couple hours, I'm good with that.
Well, you said when both of you kind of reiterate the same thing. When someone else comes and tells you, I started out my own YouTube channel because I like your channel. I mean, that's such a great compliment. I don't know how to take it at first. I was like, but now I'm like, hey, if you need any help, ask me. And I'm going to check out your stuff because I'll learn from you too. I want to help these people that start out because it's not easy. We got into the first set of interviews when I was talking to those guys. We got into analytics a lot, going into your YouTube studio and really looking into it. Don't go too far into it because the numbers aren't everything. The biggest advice, and we'll get to advice later on too, but I love saying this, is, as long as you're happy, whether there's 2 people in your chat, 20, 200, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, don't stop. You never know when that one video might blow up, or you meet someone. Like I tell the Bill Haight story all the time. Bill Haight was a friend of mine who's dyslexic, who was a writer for me. Let me say that again. I didn't know he was dyslexic till like 2 years ago, but back in the year 2002, he was one of my writers for Leaning Towards Death Wrestling. Now, people would send, I had 4 writers that would send me. I didn't want to sit there and write out a whole fucking match. Let me be honest. This guy steps into the ring, but these guys were so good at it that I just wanted to use them. Bill Haight popped into one of Pete's streams a couple years ago, and I'm like, that's a common name. It's probably just someone else named Bill decided to call him fucking self-hate and try to be a bad guy. And he's like, no, it's me. It's me, Blaise. And I was like, holy shit. Because when I ended my EFED, they begged me to bring it back on Facebook. And I was like, all right, we were on GeoCities website or something in a message board back in the day. So Facebook, that's my private group now on Facebook, was all the originals from, and I started thinking, man, when I did it on GeoCities, just on a message board, I met people from the UK. I met new people from New Zealand, from Canada. And I'm like, once I first talked to Pete, the wheels started turning, and I was like, this can be huge. Dream matches, efeds, live action. The game's only going to get better, sort of. I mean, as the year,
is that going to be?
I mean, that was the original thinking, but we all know we struggle with that, and that's what we're going to get into now. There was an old an old hip hop song back in the 90s, I believe. DJ Easy, Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. It takes two to make a thing go right. And one thing it said in there is the situation that the bass is in is what one of the lines goes. And I remember me and my buddy, it's a weird story. We were at the beach, younger beach days, and two guys would walk by, and he's like, "Ooh, that girl's hot." And I'm like, One girl, one guy walked by. "Ooh, look at her." Three girls, one guy walks by. Now that's the situation that the base is in. We want to get the right situation before we throw ourselves into it. We're not going to go in there with two boys, two girls. We're already set up for victory. So this is situational interview, which is what we do mostly in retail. And I'm going to bring it here at a little twist. We're going to have more fun with it. This is the situation that the base is in. Let's get Blaise interview continues. So this is the time where I would normally ask the question, tell me about a time you turned a negative into a positive. We've already talked about that. Trolls that we can flip, stuff like that. I would say, tell us something about you that we might not know, but I don't want to know nothing about these two dudes I don't already know. So we'll keep that stuff private. We've asked the old question, if you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, who would it be? Or if you were on an island and you can take three things with you, what three things would it be? I've done that before. Let's skip all that. Let's talk about the wrestling video game. Let's talk about 2K23. Let's talk about way back when Vince started, when it was what, 2K14, 15 or something?
It wasn't 2K anything. It was THQ.
That's right. 05, 06.
So. It was Raw versus SmackDown.
Yes, it was.
So here we are. And I'll tell you right now, I am not a gamer. I do not play this game. I use it solely for creations. Custom everything. And that's the problem. I'll sum up all of our frustrations that we're going to talk about in the next 15, 20 minutes here, that they do not make this game for what we do. Custom entrances, custom videos, custom arenas, custom movesets, custom gear, custom everything, custom shows, everything.
The problem with that, though, is they advertise it.
Yes, that's true.
They don't make it, but they advertise that they're selling it to you.
Yes. But they want you to play my faction. They want you to play my Rise. They want you to buy. I mean, we'll talk about something here in a little bit.
Give them a Rise, all right.
They'll give you a Rise. So I get it. I look at the business part of it and I understand it. To me, though, this seemed really soon to come out with another game when we just had 22. A lot of people have said it, and we've had conversations about it before, and it's money's the answer. Why don't they just make a game that they can just change the next year and evolve it? Keep the base of the game the same, add things to it. It seems like, and last year we found out that I think, here's my deduction of why the patches were ruining things every time a patch came out. I think here's your base part of the game. They had all these problems. Here's patch 1. They base it off of the base of the game. Then patch 2 comes off. They don't base it off of patch 1 in the beginning. They base it off of the beginning. And it's screwing up more stuff. So they're ignoring things in the middle, which every time they had a patch, things got worse last year. And well, Pete, you lucked out. You didn't have to deal with all the frustration as much, but you're starting to feel it now. We found out Hell in a Cell matches, they don't know how to go back in a fucking ring. We found out, mixed tag matches were horrible. They don't want to tag each other, or, DQs and dumb shit. But 23 was named. John Cena was on the cover. We knew the showcase would be a bunch of Cena stuff. I kind of like, and this is one where I've talked a lot more with Vince than I've talked about Pete with a million things, but Vince is one that I've talked about really searching community creations for the best version of a character that's not in the game, right? So like Vince, we've talked about all these creators that you've even highlighted on your channel that they make the Kenny Omegas, the CM Punks, the legends that we don't get. And they've been just as good, if not better, than the ones we get in the game sometimes. Some of the guys you've had on your show is phenomenal, and I've reached out to some of them, but I think once you get so big on YouTube, you forget about the little guys. So sorry for your luck, guys. Fuck all you big YouTubers. We'll handle it on our own. So the Icon Edition is the one they made you pay more money for and get fucking Bad Bunny, who I don't give a fuck about. But
haven't even used them yet.
The thing is, if I run an EFED and someone buys the highest version and uses something that I don't have, I can't download their character. So that's the caveat that we have to pay the top dollar, get the best game, and I have to have someone play Showcase for me just to unlock the dumb shit that someone might use that are now. Last time it was the NWO stuff, which I had because I bought the NWO pack. But then they're opening up other stuff in Showcase with the Rey Mysterio shit, the old arena that they gave you with the Rey Mysterio, the purple outfit and all the weird stuff, which they should just give us that shit in DLC, or we should give us why not make one for $150 and you get everything unlocked?
Hey, they might listen to you. I got this for you. For $120, I should be getting all that shit.
Yes, correct.
Exactly.
So the one thing I really look forward to, and I've been pleasantly surprised with it so far, is War Games. I can complain about little things here and there about I don't want the branding on there, but I know if you finish the one part, you can get the other this arena. I believe it is the one.
I was just going to say that's the actual arena you get with the Showcase.
Yeah. So hopefully, that the thing that surprised me is I'm watching all these videos. I tried to wait as late as possible because like 2 months before the game come out, everyone's already talking. What are you going to do with your show? How are you going to do this? What's going to be in that game? What's this? I don't care. Let me wait till like a week before they release it, or 2 weeks. But when they announced War Games, all my questions started. Oh fuck, is it going to go real slow when all 8 are in there, like it does sometimes? Will the game handle the cage and the little cages? I can complain about little things. I want a full entrance for everybody, and I wish they shot the camera when they came out the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Because on TV, they're going to shoot to the cage right away for production and watch them walk out. They could have easily done that, but that's nitpicking because we got fucking War Games. I could nitpick because we can't do regular matches. You can't do it in universe mode unless it's on a pay-per-view. There's pluses and minuses of it. My biggest surprise was when I saw the gameplay that people were playing when they bring all those 2K guys in, the players, and let them play, was that you can pull out weapons and throw them in the ring. And I'm like, we've waited 6 years for AI versus AI to destroy a commentator's table, and they never fucking do it. So I did not think they would grab weapons, but they do. And that makes this match even more like a war. The blood, we're going to talk about all the bad stuff, I'm sure, especially with these two motherfuckers here, because, we're going to let it all out. But think about what we get in the game. And this is me playing, if I was the 2K answer to all of our bitches and gripes. We gave you War Games. We gave you AI sliders. We gave you, you wanted custom entrances back. And from what I heard, custom entrances is one of the main reasons that 22 didn't have it, because in 20 kept crashing because of custom entrances and shit, but crashes for a million reasons. So we've had a couple days, almost a full week to play with it, mess around with it. Your initial take, Vince, on War Games in the game for us. Pluses and minuses, whatever.
I'm pleasantly surprised with War Games itself. And it makes sense. Look, they were going to ride that horse to the finish line.
Oh, yeah.
War Games is what, people have been asking for 2 years.
Yep.
We're giving you War Games. And it's like, guys, this thing cannot shit the bed. If Universe doesn't work the shit, well, they're used to that. But
True.
War Games has to work. So fuck the fact you can't put logos on turnbuckles in created mode, okay? Yeah. War Games works. And that's really all we promoted on this game, is that you're going to get War Games.
True. They didn't give us a lot of promotion for hardly anything going into this game.
I knew we were in trouble when they were not talking about Universe mode hardly at all. And then when they did, all they said is you'll be able to more or less help choose which of the same cutscenes we've had for 20 years.
Oh, we'll get to that, because I got a rant about that motherfucking shit. So, Pete, what about you and your experience in War Games so far?
I haven't had any issues with War Games yet. I've heard other people, on your channel specifically, where one of the entrants didn't come in. So it's like a dead-end match.
The last person did not leave the cage. It was Charlotte Flair. I did 4 on 4, and she wouldn't leave. So it was over. Match was over.
War Games, I'm fine with. It seems like it's the best match that actually works. Like if for AI versus AI, I should say that. It seems like if you're actually playing the game, there's not as many issues, but you're trying to use just straight AI, it's fucking up constantly.
Now, we've talked about old school and stuff like that a lot from the day. I'm a traditional War Games guy. I want the top on it, and I want the rules to be right. Yep. But I also am a realist. you got big spots that you can make off the top of the cage if you don't have a top. I get it. I understand that. And that is one of the funnest parts. One of the most fun parts that I've found in this is when someone gets on the top and they dive off. I like that. That's exciting to me because we're not used to
one move I've seen that they do, and that's the snooker splash.
Yep.
Yeah, they need. I was hoping for more variation of that. I think I've seen maybe one other, but 90% of the time, that's the only move they do off the top, which sucks. And then they do that little scoot your dupa across the cage thing. You ever seen that yet? They get on top and just rub their vagina to the top of the cage and scoot across it. If it's a girl, I guess. Or
one of the things that I found was cool, and I didn't know about it. I saw someone else's video. You can climb on the wall and not go all the way to the top, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you can move, let's say, to the left. Well, you can start out in ring A and crawl all the way to ring B on the wall. It's like, oh shit, that's kind of cool.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Here's the other thing. When they showed the actual gameplay, you saw people get into the middle of those two rings and do a move or two. I've yet to see AI versus AI do it. Which I'm okay with that. I understand. I take the good with the bad. I take all the bad with a little bit of the good. But I think all three of us share the same sentiment. At this point, we got war games. That's something they're all. I think if you had a physical 2K person in front of you, that when you complain all this stuff about customs, they're going to say, we gave you war games. We gave you custom. We gave you this. We gave you that. So they're giving us, things that we wanted. They're listing a little more. Maybe the 5-year that I said until we get a game made off of all creations is more like 10 years. But
it's just going to come from somebody other than 2K.
Yeah. But the thing is, I want photorealism. Kenny Omega came straight out and said, fight forever or wait forever. Whenever the game comes out, it's not photorealistic. Do not expect 2K version. It's
more arcade based.
Yeah. But it has 40 different weapons.
Yep.
It has tons of different ways to bleed and fight. And it's got a really cool look that they've already changed. But you're not even. But I want TV realism.
But
they don't even have full entrances.
You're still able to recognize the wrestlers. That's what I like. They're not. They're not limiting themselves because they want to go all out on the graphics. So that opens up the door and frees up some of the space for doing different matches, doing weapons, doing other things. Yeah. Whereas WWE, they just said, you know what, we're going to push for realism and fuck the consequences.
Well,
Vince,
you
look at the older WWE games. You had Buried Alive, you had Inferno matches, you had this, you had that. Well, they've taken all that away just so they can up the graphics. Well, I'm sorry. It's the players that actually enjoy playing, or the ones that like to do what we do, that are suffering from it.
But I mean, if you look at some of the graphics, they are fucking amazing now compared to back
then. But what
then.
good is it if you can't play the game?
I'm with you. So Vince, let's delve a little deeper with you. We've talked about Virtual Basement, that game.
Yep.
Wrestling Code, which is still work in progress. And then what's the other one that you were just promoting not too long ago?
Ultra Pro Wrestling.
Ultra Pro. I'm not a fan of the look completely because it looks like one of those old PC games. But the things that game wants to do, I'm all along. I'm all aboard for it.
Well, and I'll tell you two things. A, it's early development, so that is not going to be the final product.
Yeah, okay.
By any stretch. And B, he has crushed his Kickstarter number. I mean, we were talking about getting for 20,000. He's already closing in on 50.
The people want a custom wrestling game. I am like, can us three just get together and find a video game creator and we can design it for them to make? Because that's kind of what Ultra Pro is. I mean, Sam himself, he is a guy who does code and all that stuff, and he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Matter of fact, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., we'll be having our first official session of behind the scenes. So people, because there are still skeptics in the world. I understand a lot of Kickstarter campaigns disappear and the money's gone too, kind of thing. But like I told him, let's make sure people see what's happening so they understand where the money's going. And now that he's got more money, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, the conversation, to find out what does that mean for the game looking wise. And now do we get better graphics because you have more money?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So we'll get that answered. I don't even know the answers yet.
Yeah, for those out there who aren't, like I said, you're doing it wrong. Number one, if you're not subscribed to these two guys, but look in the description of this show right now. Both of their YouTube channels and their Twitter handles are in there. Go ahead and make sure you follow them. Check out, if you're not a morning person like me, I'll either be watching Vince in bed at 9 a.m. or catch the replay later on. But That's intriguing. Now, here's the thing: whether Virtual Basement or that other Ultra Pro or actually the game we're looking for, it doesn't matter. The thing is, it's starting to happen.
Yeah,
like the wheels are turning. That more and more customs creations are out there. People doing what we do with the game. That I strongly believe within 10 years we'll have a game solely made for what we do. Now, whether it's good enough, I don't know. So let's talk about.
We'll be around.
Yeah, we talked about the good. We talked about, the war games, I think, is one of the best things. Now, this is something talked earlier with Vince about. And like you said, they didn't really promote this game and the things that changed. This is AI logic, man. And,
yeah, I didn't even know it was there.
And
you got shit up there to read. I got to put my fucking glasses on.
So now when you create a character, there are your regular attributes. And then there are AI attributes.
Yep.
Where you can literally tell your 400-pound, 700-foot guy, don't climb to the fucking top rope. Don't do a moonsault. Or if you have a tiny guy, don't body press a 400-pound guy, things like that. So you can kind of control. I haven't seen a lot of positive reactions and changes that this does, but and I'm losing the name of the other game again, Vince. Like we
Fire
talked
Pro
about.
Wrestling.
Yeah, Fire Pro Wrestling has AI logic to the nth degree
Yes.
compared to this.
And
But
graphics.
Fire Pro has little mini guys jumping around, which I don't like. But the idea behind it's fucking phenomenal. It is the brain that we want for this game. This is part of it.
I haven't toyed with this aspect too much. I know with big guys, I just took away the ability to do springboards. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I like that realism in there. So, you're not going to be 6'6". Well, in some instances, you got some agile.
Depends on the character. Yeah.
There. But, for the most part, you won't see a big, strong man doing like 450 splashes and jumping up on the top rope and doing a moonsault. It's not going to happen. It's not logical.
Now, I want results from this first because we haven't seen any. We got the thing, but does it work? How many things can we take today that we talk about? Does it work?
I have noticed taking away the slider for, for the springboards, and that seems to work.
Good.
And on top of that, I'll go into the characters. Even if I download them from someone else that wants to be a part on the show, I will remove the springboards. It's like, no, it doesn't make sense. You're like fucking 6'8".
Yeah.
Come on.
22 had a lot of collar and elbow tie-ups and springboards. It was like there was a collar and elbow tie-up before almost every fucking move. And, the game was messed up. Not as bad as 20. I try and
make my show not so, spot monkey-ish.
Yeah. Yours is brutality. It's like,
like I have
Cro-Magnons at the end of the world fighting to beat the shit out of
like I've always described it. It's like Mad Max meeting wrestling. Throw it together.
I love that. So we have some AI logic. We'll see how that pans out as the game gets bigger. This is the thing I was really excited about. Now I'm pretty fucking disappointed in it. I go into universe mode and I turn everything off. Run-ins, the Undertaker special story and all the extra bullshit. All the, everything's where all I want universe mode to do for me is organize matches so they go after each other. That's all it's doing for me. So I don't have to set the match. Other than that, I don't use the rivalries. I don't use any of that shit. But I like the fact that, they took away promos. But then I realized in 22, I was seeing all this stuff. These are the same cutscenes from before. So when I saw this, I was like, are they just going to give us 5? This is supposed to be a game changer for efeds in universe mode because it will add to your story. If it works correctly, I think it would add to some stories. However, here's some of the problems that I've incurred, and I don't know. I'll see if you guys have had any so far. You go and do a show. If they're set as rivals, it'll show up where the second one does, where it says rival action.
Yep.
So you go under rival action and you choose between a shit ton. I was so happy. I was like, this isn't just 6 options. I thought it'd be promo, run-in, handshake, beat down. That's it after a match. Now, what I found out so far, and if you guys have anything other to share, let me know. You can put one on each side. However, I go into universe mode. Say this is match 2. After match 1 is over, this same screen pops up with both of the action items telling everybody what's going to happen.
Oh.
And then it votes and one falls off. So it's like based on momentum or whatever, Romans is going to work. So like what Vince does, he goes through OBS. So he can turn your screen off, show a commercial while that happens, and it's not broadcasted. Well, me and Pete broadcast straight from the PlayStation. Like when you do run-ins on 22 and 19, you hit that little run-in thing, and on the matches, it would say run-in. So I would make sure never to show that screen because I don't want them to know it's a run-in. I'll start the first match. You can't get past this that I know of yet. If you select 2, it'll do that. So here's an example. You pick 2 of them. One of these 2 things is going to happen. I like the fact that you can pick 2 to make sure one happens, because in 22, I would set in a run-in after the match, but the other fucking guy wins. So there's no run-in. I want the ability. Now, free mode helps you a little more because you can choose any of the actions, and there's tons of them. My problem is it's the same fucking cut schemes as 22. Except
and
for
20 and 20 and 19 and 18.
I brought that up on Assemble. It's a great follow. If you're not watching Assemble, he's really good. Matt, he's another Canadian guy up there, does really great content. He's blowing up right now with content. I tried to bring him on for an interview, but he said the same thing. He was like, I don't know if he wasn't really defending it, but he's trying to explain it, because I said, I think this is a waste. It was all the same cutscenes. And he did bring up there's 3 or 4 that are new. And I'm like, okay, there's 3 or 4 that are new. They did have some new, but these are all the same fucking cutscenes.
Yeah.
So unless I want complete free reign, like give me a universe mode screen where I can say action item 1 before match 1, action item 7 before match 4.
Here's the problem, Blaised. We had all that when THQ had the title.
Yep.
Okay. See, that's before me.
Okay, yeah. You get those THQ last 2 games that they put out, they had create a story mode. And when we're talking about create a story mode, you could be in a fucking restaurant scene.
Okay. And I love that. I thought, you know how Fortnite's real big now, and there's a Spider-Man open world game and GTA open world. I would love a little bit of that. Not completely open world, because you don't need completely open world in wrestling. You don't need to go run the streets. But if you had like a workout area, the venue, the bar, you can fight at.
Like that. There were scene selections that you could map out. And here was what was cool about create a story mode. You would set up your card. Let's say there's a 5-match card, and you're going to do a run-in, let's say, on the second match. You could choose when to do the run-in based on, okay, when the person's arm is at red critical level, then this person's going to run in and attack them. That's so you had control over the timing. On top of that, like I said, you had these cut scenes that would take place in a restaurant, in a bar, just like they do in real wrestling matches. Yeah. What a thought. You had a couple of guys talking in a locker room about something, and then the other guy would be outside the door listening in. So they're talking about him and he's hearing stuff. Yeah. But here was the cool part about it. You could type in the dialogue that would appear on screen.
Wow.
You would then save this created story, and it could branch and everything. I mean, you could make it a whole 2, 3, 4 month thing, and then you can upload it to the community, and people were downloading each other's stories.
Yep.
So do you think that they at THQ had like a copyright on that specific thing or something?
No, I think they had they weren't doing money grabs for freaking.
Yeah. Well, gaming was different back then too.
But yes, you actually had to make a game people wanted to buy and play.
Yeah. But if I was making a cutscene and I watch pro wrestling on TV, where is the backstage interview attack? That's like common. That's all you got to give us. Give us someone getting interviewed and a person be attacked.
That's what I've been
saying. Like I said earlier, they opted for the visual and took away the rest.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I could play that other side of the coin that I know they would say, well, we gave you this, we gave you that, we gave you AI logic. What more do you want? Well, I can tell you what more I want, but this is something I didn't really care about, but a lot of people do. There's a lot of people out there that are really good at doing custom entrances where they match up each of the moves good and make it really unique. Like some of them you can tell, like if you see, Bang Bang coming out, what wrestler that is, or you see RVD coming out, what wrestler that is. So, and me, I don't want any WWE logos on anything. Like sometimes you can't get around it, but I want it to look like my LTD, not WWE. Custom creations, and I'll shout out Chance, my friend. Chance was always incredible at these, putting these together. But then there was other people that were like, the first intro, they're doing this, and the next thing you know, they're halfway down the ramp, or it just looks like a fucking mess. So this is good and bad. Like, as from what I'm hearing, it's not even working that well. Have either of you messed with this yet? Pete, have you messed with custom yet?
I don't have a use for it. I'm not going to waste the time. You know how much time I spend on the cause itself. You know, like I'll spend like, what was it, 2K19? I spent 20 hours just building
Yeti. And I mean, this is, and I've watched Vince do creations, and Pete, trust me, guys, these are not guys that are going to use default faces and not go in and tweak the eyes and the nose and make the lips look right and the ears. These guys do it right. I tried to do it
this morning. It was like, what, 90 minutes, I think, at least.
Yeah, I'm impatient.
Well,
so
I had the issue today. If I spent too much time in the creation section, it would freeze.
Hello. That's on my list.
Now, is that under create a wrestler?
Yeah, create a wrestler as well as create an arena.
Because all I've done is I did Blaze on my live stream, my second one, and that's it. I have not created anybody else. I've downloaded some of the ones you've done because I have their characters, but I'm really worried. I'm leery of doing too much creation because I don't want to lose it.
I'm at like almost 50 wrestlers strong by now.
Yeah, close.
Like it's
I got 10.
I'll just sit down, like, I don't sleep much. So if I can't sleep.
Not for the last 7 days.
Well, this game really can consume your time if you want to sit there.
No, it isn't even just a game. Like, I've got insomnia, so I get like an hour or two a night of sleep, and then it's like, okay, what am I gonna fucking do now? So
what's up, Frostbite?
I know I've got a lot of people to create. Stuff. Get to it.
What about you, Vince? Have you done any of the custom entrances yet?
Yeah, I've been messing with them for all of mine because mine are all custom. Imaginary people.
Yeah.
So, but I've tried to keep it simple only because, like Pete's saying, it's time consuming when you're doing these creations.
Yeah. And
the way I thought I really thought I was going to bang these things out pretty quickly. And boy, was I wrong.
Well, I mean, listen, there's some people out there that they take default attire, throw on some jeans and a hat, just do moveset of AJ Styles, done. Here's your different finisher. And that's all they do. That's not what I do. I mean, that's not what you guys do. We go really in depth. Like, I'm going to do Blaze's moveset maybe tonight. I don't know. And I might stream it just to show you. I go through every move. Or
I don't do that.
When I build other characters, I will take – when I ask people in their interview, in their application, what 3 wrestlers in the game do you compare your guy to? That's how I base your moveset. If you say Orton, Kevin Nash, and Kevin Owens, I'm going to set like so many of the divisions of Kevin Owens, a couple of these Nash, characterize that character, make it really unique. But damn, Yeti, you've done 30 already. I hope you're uploading them. The only reason I'm saying that is when a new patch comes out, if you lose everything, it sucks. So I've been uploading everything myself.
The only ones I haven't uploaded were the inmates.
And the thing, he got a prison angle going on, which is fucking hilarious. So the thing is too with, I mean, I want to create, but and I know that and anybody out there who doesn't know, reach out to me or anybody else that does know how to back up your data, how to upload the data to the cloud or to a USB stick just in case. That saved me probably 4 or 5 times last year. And Vince, you were the first one that I saw doing it, and I was like, I'm doing that. Because that's 2 separate copies that I have just in case. And sure enough, Shulky, She-Hulk chick, the one she lost everything as soon as she did it. She lost. She had like 20 characters done, lost everything, had nothing saved. And I'm like, now you're starting over. Not to say that's gonna happen this time around, but as similar as this is to 22, it's a very big possibility.
I feel like I've heard this song before.
Yes, for the last 2 years, except for 21, the perfect game. Real quick about the DLCs. April 19th, you get the Steiners, which I like, but I really wish Steiner would also come along with a Big Papa Pump version.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I don't really care.
They're like the only 2 I give a shit about in the entire DLC.
Yeah, it's not a great DLC pack. And I talked about it earlier off the air, but I really wish they would go back to DLCs where you get gear, you get a weapon, you get a arena or 2 or something weird. Like, make the DLCs really worth it. Like, here, I mean, you think Anderson and Gallows should have been in the damn game if you ask me.
And I'm looking forward to getting them. Don't get me wrong. I like them. But should they be DLC? They were just in the game a year ago.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't signed when they were starting the game because they did come back. Maybe that's why they threw them.
Sure,
DLC.
but they signed and came back in time. You already had the models.
Yeah, true.
It's only 1 year removed.
That's true. They don't even have to scan them. True.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Then you got some NXT there, which some cool gear will come from Stratton and Pretty Deadly. I'll tell you that much.
Possibility there.
Another NXT here. Harley Race. That's another one I think a legend that should be in the game.
I'm looking forward to. Well, they've never had him before.
No.
Yeah.
So for that aspect, I'm looking forward to him.
True, that's a good one. Definitely something to
As
look
long
I
as
like
they do it
Wendy,
proper.
too.
Like you look at the Jake the Snake in-game character as well as the Macho Man. It's like, really?
Same.
You really have to
Yeah.
like, go that low?
You can find communications that are better than some of the
Yeah.
ones on that that we talked about.
Not only
the
that, they haven't changed their attire in freaking 4 years.
Like
Exactly.
Lita with the same fucking attire from like 4 years ago too.
Yeah, but now there's like 3 versions of her in this game. You have to go through once you go through the showcase with Cena. You get like 3 Litas out of the deal.
Oh, really? Well,
geez.
that's better.
Yeah.
Thea Hale is missing in this one. That chick's a firecracker on NXT. I fucking love her. She's a local Pittsburgh girl too, so I got a little extra love for her. And it's amazing that Damon Kemp got a character before Gabe Steveson did, because Gabe Stevenson's his brother, and Gabe Steveson was supposed to be huge. So something's up with him. I don't know what, but that's who am I really excited about there?
Eve Torres, give me a break. Come on, man.
Gee, I could pick 5 other diva legends that I would picked over her.
That's not the reason why he's choosing Eve, and not for her wrestling skill, man. Come on.
Okay.
I was being completely facetious. I mean, the space altogether.
So I had a lot of fun the opening night. All 3 of us were live, and I was popping around to streams and, testing shit out. It was like kids on Christmas Eve. No matter how much we don't like the game and we get pissed about it, it was so exciting to finally wait till midnight. And number 2, if you want to talk about a positive, I haven't seen any pictures where eyeballs are up here and shit yet. And our uploads worked right away.
Yeah.
Last year, that was huge. Uploader wasn't up right away, and it fucked up left and right. And
I'll let you go first.
The being able to upload custom logos is so important to what we do.
The biggest glitch I've come across was during an entrance for a cage match or a Hell in a Cell. And I actually caught it live on the channel. 2 chicks, and the first one comes in fine. Second one, once she's in the ring, the other chick comes in, starts trying to throw hands, and the AI is still doing his entrance bit, And then all of a sudden, just the second opponent just disappears, and that's when I knew, okay, universe mode's crashed.
Didn't you have something with a mixed tag match too, Pete?
Yeah, that was this morning, and yesterday, I believe, as well. Mixed tag would not work. There'd be a tag, and from one of the chicks tagging in her partner, the guy'd come in. The other guy just stood on the apron like a dummy and let himself get hit.
Didn't you say there was no ref or something too?
Yeah, also no ref. Same with if I used a created arena, there's no ref in there either.
We that stuck on his knee, blurry and shaking. Monstar he got possession. He got gremlins in his.
You know what I find funny though, Blaze? You're all happy about the fact that we could get our logos in the game.
Yeah.
And then you can't use them.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's the other issue right now.
I mean, you are the eternal optimist. I don't know what else to say.
I'm trying to be, man. I'm trying to be the good guy, but I'm frustrated. I'm on pause with creation right now. I mean,
you don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, other people were cranking shit out. I mean, I could too, but I'm just like, I have 2 arenas. I uploaded them, and I can't put more than 1 logo on a barricade.
I get a kick out of them saying, pre-order the game so you can play 3 days early.
Yeah.
3 days is gonna be 3 fucking months before I can play the game.
Well, it took 2 years for them to try to get 22 right, and they didn't. So opening night, I did 5-hour stream. Tested a whole bunch of shit, and then it froze at a custom chamber match 5 hours later. So I was finally like, oh, we're done. I came back and did the creation of Blaze, I think, on the second one. Did some matches. We did a bunch of custom matches because I do all custom matches. I don't want any disqualifications. I don't want any countouts or anything like that. Do we really care about the invisible John Cena or
a fucking concept?
The action figure John Cena?
That is the dumbest thing I've heard of since a metal AJ Styles.
And the gold one. Is that what you're talking about? The old gold AJ or whatever? Yeah.
I didn't get him.
So correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't play the game. You get the invisible Cena from doing showcase.
Yes.
But for the action figure, you got to go buy a fucking action figure and upload the receipt to get this character. You get a code to download. I mean, it's different. We've never had an action figure, but I don't want an action figure. I want them to look real.
I don't understand why. The whole concept of it is just.
Well, who makes their action figures?
Stupid.
Who makes their action figures?
Mattel.
I'm sure there was a little bit of money.
Well, what are they going to do though? Like, okay, it's popular in the game, so we're going to put an empty box with a picture of John Cena there, and it's like, there you go, you're invisible John Cena.
Yeah.
What's the fucking point? It doesn't sell nothing.
No.
You talk about the stuff that we all do. There's guys out there. Some of them are very good.
Yes.
Who do stop motion with the action figures?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they put on full on fucking matches, and some of this shit is like. I mean, I've done a little stop motion stuff in my day, not with wrestling figures, but just when I was doing early on video work or whatever. And when I see a match that goes 7 minutes long, that was like a month.
Yeah. All the screenshots, all the still shots for like a month.
Like freeze.
Some of them are really good. Some of them are just some kid playing, but some of them are really.
But I think you're really narrow casting when you try to put the action figure in the game to how many people really want that.
Here's all the positive responses to 2K. It's amazing. It's fire. It's tremendous. This is from WWE Games Twitter.
Yeah, and it's all by the developers and their
online
moms.
Rumble. We didn't talk about it though, but the tag Rumble is very cool. I talked to Vince earlier about it, but to set a Rumble, and if those characters are a tag team, they will not fight each other until the very end, or if they interact accidentally. I think that's more realistic
because
to
they
a
work
Rumble
together.
And if I want to do a 5
now, is it a Rumble only, or would a Battle Royal also work?
It's Rumble, and I think it's also Chamber. Like if you have a tag in the chamber, they won't fight each other. If they have
and
someone
that's
else
another one they fucked us on. Years ago, you could have a chamber match with teams.
Yep.
And I don't mean like 2, 2, and 2. I mean like these, what is it, 6 altogether in chamber? So these 3 against these 3. So that was kind of our war games back in the day.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been gone since 2K took it out. 2K just fucked the pooch on everything.
Oh, I know. They got rid of the good developers, in my opinion.
They're not going to do anything different because they're getting our money every year. And they design the game for people who play it. That's the bottom line. They don't design it for what we do, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't think that's even accurate, though, because they're designing the game right now for factions, and the majority of people overwhelmingly do not play factions.
Yeah, I've seen people put polls up there, too.
Yeah.
Do you play my faction or not? And people do not play my faction.
And it's always... I've seen polls with like 700 responders, which I know that's not a huge number, but it's a good number. It's a litmus test. And out of those 700, like 87% don't play it.
Is this what you're talking about, Vince? A 6-man tag chamber?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, wow, that would be so cool.
Yeah, it was that part of the game until fucking 2K came along and said, no, I can't have that. What do you mean? You already have it.
Huh.
Yeah,
Special guest referee. What the fuck?
Oh my God, that goes so far with some of the shit.
Yeah.
Again, we had this. We had special guest referee.
Yeah. And if they can put women referees into the game, why can they not? If you could pick the look of someone else to add as a referee or create a referee. How about that? Just let us create a one slot that is a referee. I don't know. I agree. It could really help stuff. So that's what led us up to now. Let's take a look at some of the stuff that Vince has put together and some differences in some of these characters. Now, Vince,
you tell me, which one looks better?
See, at first,
or the one on the right.
At first, I was looking at the detail around the eyes on the right, and I thought it was the right. But then I could see more on the cheeks and stuff on the one on the left and the forehead.
There's
like
color,
more detail.
There's shadow.
Exactly.
I mean, the left, obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, that's last year's game.
Yeah.
The hair. I mean, it's the exact same sculpt.
It's weird how some characters got better, some got worse. Like, how do you?
Yeah, that happens a lot. And
That's
then
weird.
I chose Casey Catanzaro. Figure I'd take one of the females. I mean, I don't know, man. I know she has a different hairstyle, so we'll forget that part.
Yeah.
But facially, and then people keep asking me, how's the game? This is the exact same menu.
Yeah, it's the same format, pretty much. It's 22.5. Exactly.
They just slap new stickers on everything. You're buying a car that's 10 years old, but hey, I just painted it.
I'm not even, if some people are, maybe unpopular opinion, I'm not a fan of the videos, of the Tron videos on the back.
This is basically a Craigslist rebuild.
Yeah.
Where they grab an engine, they just spray paint it, don't do a damn thing, put it back on the market for like another $200.
Can you get any lazier than this?
Well, it's the same. It's like they
It's
chose
exactly
certain
the
things.
same.
I don't think we're ever going to get a complete overhaul for a 2K wrestling game. They're just going to keep nipping away at this, chipping away at it to create something different.
Or until somebody else comes out and puts out a better game and we stop spending money with you and we spend it with them.
That's why I'm waiting to see what AEW is going to be all about. Because if that ends up being a better play, oh, fuck 2K.
You know what, Pete, though? We don't even know if they got community creations for that yet. What if you can't upload your own? You got to stick with their shit.
And
how can you do an AEW show?
I mean, the game was supposed to launch a month ago, so how can they not know the answer already to that?
Yeah, no kidding.
I heard March 31st. That's obvious not it, or else they'd be talking about it a lot right now. Then I heard next year. Then I heard by the end of the year.
We'll see. So with this here, for example, this is some place that they spent some time on, okay?
Yeah.
The BCW high school gym is phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've got state banners up. They've got a scoreboard. It feels great, and I would love to be using this gym. Only one little problem with this. You can't put it into a show, and it is not a show.
Oh my goodness!
Exhibition only.
That reminds me of studio wrestling. What I went to a kid to see. Studio wrestling. That's studio wrestling.
They got the logo for the mascot on the floor. I mean, it is beautiful, but you can't use it. Only exhibition. That's it.
Yeah. I've always wondered that too. And there's some other things that came out today. I forgot to write it down that are coming out in my faction, but you can't use them anywhere else.
Oh, that's just dumb.
Oh, yeah, the characters.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch.
Well, the John Cena, the action figure.
Yeah, you can't use the action figure, only in my faction.
Right. As soon as I heard that, as well, I'm definitely not interested now.
Yeah. So
I wasn't really interested to begin with, but you really kicked me in the dick with this one.
Yeah.
The only thing different on the lineup is War Games. No big surprise there.
Yeah, they could have done a little. I mean, even though that's a big one, we talked about it. They could have added something else in there.
Yeah, they could have let us have the BCW arena in a show.
Yes.
Here's one of my favorites. There, you will not find, it says Bloodline, right? But if you go into Universe mode, for example, and you want to set the Bloodline, like with the Bloodline, they don't have some Solo in the lineup.
Correct.
So if I want to put him in there and then I want to maybe position him into Jimmy's spot, because Jimmy's about to turn on Roman or whatever, so he's going to be going.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't do that because you will not find that Bloodline in the Universe mode.
Oh, wow.
And you won't get to use the full team. The only way you get that whole Bloodline entrance is if it's Roman wrestling and they're all managers. If you have a 6-man tag, you don't get that entrance. You don't get Paul Heyman and they'll enter this way.
They have a pub in My Rise, a UK pub in My Rise. Now, why can we use that? They had that arcade thing before.
Yeah, it's all in. That's my point. It's all there.
Same thing with 20. How many backstage different options did we have in 20?
Plenty.
That was amazing. You know how that would help us? I would use a bunch of those things. Pete, I know you would too.
Oh, yeah.
20 had the Amazing Hell Arena and all those backstage things.
But you look at what they did with that. They limited what you could do in those matches.
Yeah.
Like if you had it in the what was it, a dance hall or whatever in 2K20? You know,
with the disco ball and shit.
Well, everything
it was just basically you throw the guy into the chairs constantly, and the AI had no concept of what to actually do in those games.
Have either of you used backstage in 23 yet?
I was just getting ready to do it today, and I ran out of time, so I'll do it after we get off.
You can, if you know how to.
I've seen video.
Have you seen the video? So
yeah.
We were on Goddess's channel when she was doing it, and as soon as you start, if you go to the back and climb up, there's a big light, arena light. And
I saw this.
You have to Irish whip the other person into the railing 3 times. It knocks the rail off.
Right.
And then you have to throw them into it again. They fall into the light. It explodes. Yep. There's smoke. It's fucking crazy.
It did look good. And then there's different things you can do with the cars.
Yeah, if you know how to drag someone, which I don't, you drag them over to the trunk of a car. Goddess, I finally found out. There's Goddess. I finally found out how to do it. You drag them to the trunk of the car, and it can be reversed. You put their hand in the trunk and you slam it. But if the other person reverses it, it switches us off, and then he puts his hand in and slams it. You can slam someone's head through the driver's side window.
Yep.
Which used to be an option back in the later games.
Yeah, they had great stuff.
You can throw them on the windshield. You can slam them in the side car door and on the hood. You can slam their hand in the hood.
I think they did not bring back still, though, the finisher on the car.
Yeah.
I don't believe they have.
There's more things you can interact with backstage. There's more boxes
because last year you couldn't do shit.
Yeah, there's a bunch more stuff you can pick up and interact with. Goddess, we had a nice little trial on her channel with that. But that's something that, if you want to add something, add more backstage shit. That definitely adds to the program that we're trying to do. I've heard a lot of these issues with the tag teams and making tag teams, Vince.
Yep.
I haven't messed with this shit yet.
Judgment Day, same story. It didn't have Dom, so I bring Dom in, and there are no options for setting Judgment Day. It had Ripley, and that was pretty much it. So changing it up with him in it, same thing with Solo. It's just, it recognizes these three individuals when they're together.
Wow,
we got tag finishers in universe mode again, though. Yay!
Yeah, but that's because we've only had one patch update. We'll lose that as soon as they give us another one. Because we had tag finishers last year in the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm so afraid that every time a patch comes out, it's going to help a couple things, but mess up something else.
It's going to mess up a lot.
Damage control. I just saw a video today.
Yep.
Damage control. All the shit's not in there.
Yeah, same.
You can
That's
set a
another
tag
one.
to damage control. It doesn't come up.
Yep. So those are the things I had on the video.
It's Swiss cheese, man. There's so many little things. You'd think that, I don't know, you'd think they would win over this shit. Or someone in the devs would have been like, hey, man,
they were
this
too
is happening.
busy playing more games.
Yep.
True.
And then they know we will test it for them. And, oh, by the way, not only do we not pay these fuckers, they're going to pay us.
But it makes
this is Tom Sawyer 101.
I want to be positive. I want to be happy. I want to feel good.
Wow, I feel
good. I was going to suck you guys in and be like, I got a special video to show you guys. You're never going to believe it. You ready?
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you.
I don't want to get copywritten.
It's creepy as hell. Yeah, speaking of which, by the way, you were talking earlier about things that we don't like.
Yeah.
About the whole YouTube experience. Got my first strike in a very long time, like on this channel, first strike.
Video or a song?
Video.
Okay.
Back when Flair had his retirement and they had the roast.
Yeah, when you did the roast, that was so good. I didn't get.
But all I did was commentate. I didn't show the video.
No, you didn't.
Audio.
You could barely hear the audio,
and I talked over it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he said this about this, or this one said this about that. Here it is, what, 10 months later?
Yeah.
I got one 2 weeks ago from a video I did almost 5 years ago.
Well, here's the thing that happens. And I learned a little bit about copyright from being in music a lot. You can find a non-royal, and this is just music, one example of this. So if I go on YouTube, I find song XYZ from whatever band. It's non-copyright, royalty-free. They're not signed to any record labels or nothing. You could use it all you want. And I use that one. This just happened to Frostbite. That, like 2 weeks later, that band got signed. So everything they have is now copywritten. Mm-hmm. So YouTube's algorithm will go back and find every time Frostbite had an entrance. And
but you remember my old podcast, they had no music in them.
Yeah, yours, it's either video. See, I got copywritten on a Sting when Sting's entrance came up.
I got nailed because it was back when Alexa Bliss was reportedly, like, her phone supposedly got hacked and her nudes were released. It was all fake news.
Yeah.
But, I was doing my podcast. I was covering it. And it was the title and something about the picture I used. And it's like just her on the stairs in full clothing. But I got nailed for a violation of nudity and shit.
Oh.
Yeah. There's no fucking nudity in the fucking video.
And you can fight these things, but unless you're like Angry Joe with some money and lawyers ready to go. I love that guy only because he fights these fuckers every time.
Well, the only thing that I worry about is, remember Adam Guerin, his channel got taken down completely with no explanation. The dude was
twice already, so
he was a good commentator, didn't go over the lines, didn't say anything crazy, didn't cuss a lot, and the next thing you know, he's telling us in a group chat, my channel is gone. Yeah. Someone reported him or whatever, and his channel is gone.
Yep.
So that's what I fear the most. Yes, copyright notices. Mostly all it's going to do is share your monetization or not give you monetization. So a lot of people out there, they're like, I'm not monetized. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to play songs. Yep. However, if you play the wrong song, your channel's gone. So be careful.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing, and this is, I don't know if you want to share this one. The only song that ever got me in trouble was "Wake Me Up Before You Go" by Wham.
Yeah. Well, you do. I mean, you used to do
something. What are you listening to that for?
There's that old 80s.
Oh, no.
The old WCW music they used to play before. Right. You can play some of that old 80s stuff. It's The copyright law didn't come until like 91. When I was doing my Legion of Dork with Super Nacho, I found that out because 80s commercials are almost all fair game. You can play 80s commercials like crazy because the copyright rules didn't come until later on. However, anything WWE, WWF, or WCW is owned by WWE. They'll catch that shit.
Oh, yeah.
But then I have a friend
You know
who
who's
posted
the worst at catching it? And by worst meaning the best?
AEW.
Nope. Impact.
Yeah.
They don't miss a fucking trick.
They're all over it too. See, it's
We
and I
did
understand
one of the wrestle chats not too long ago, and that was right after they had the 1 hour match with Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander. And if anyone hasn't seen it, you need to go watch that.
Definitely
match.
one of the match of the year.
It was fucking phenomenal. And we came on the next day, Jay and I, to talk about this match. And I took just clips of maybe 30, no less than 30. What am I saying? 10-second clips, which you are allowed to do. It is being disseminated for news. We were discussing the match and what happened. We're reporting on it. Yeah. It's the same. And we didn't show more than 8 minutes, which is your maximum amount. I was way under 8 minutes. But man, they jumped on that shit. And I'm over here selling your product, bitch.
Yeah, some channels, they get away with it. And I have someone who was at a live event and they recorded a big something that happened right afterwards, a little 2-minute clip.
Yep.
Hundreds of thousands of views. It's not even their content, but you never know when a video is going to blow up or something that, they can do that. So that's why I've always said, and we're going to get to the final segment here where we talk a little bit about being a content creator again. Don't let the numbers bug you guys. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. Unless you're looking to make money, you need 1,000. Otherwise, I don't care if you have 100. I know content creators that have a couple hundred that are way better than people that have 10, 20, 30,000 subscribers. Yes, you got to kind of play the game, ask for likes because the algorithm does show within the first half an hour. If you get so many likes, YouTube's going to push your show out more to people. If you're doing lives or premieres, it happens within the first 5 minutes. If you don't cuss as much, you won't get limited monetization. I get that all the time. But if I do a review, so I try to wait 5 minutes before I start saying fuck.
I thought it was 30 seconds. I heard.
30 seconds what I heard as well.
I stretch so some people said a couple minutes, so I go a long way and say try to wait 5 minutes.
See,
it's hard for me to go 30 seconds.
So I just play music. I play a song to start off all my streams now.
Guy like me though takes that as a challenge. I dare you.
And Goddess has it. It doesn't matter. Whatever. As long as you're having fun with your content, that's all that matters. So the final segment, I stole this off of. I was watching all these different streams, and I don't know if it's just like a Boston, New York type of thing, East Coast. But if you know someone who says at the end of the day, they probably say it way too much. So they're like every 5 seconds, they're at the end of the day, this, at the end of the day, that, at the end of the day, this. It's just a saying that we say. I say all these things too. Like another one that gets me all the time is when someone says to tell the truth, or I'm not going to lie. Well, thanks for not lying to me. What, you normally lie? Is that what you're
going to say? If you just preface it, that means all this other shit's been bullshit.
Yep.
So I got a friend, Doc, on my WrestleSense always says not going to lie. And I'm like, what, you're normally lying to us then? And they give me shit. But that's just pet peeves things say to tell the truth or to be honest. Do you have to let me know that you're being honest? Does that mean you're not honest most of the time or what? So the final segment is called At the End of the Day. And we'll give our final thoughts from what we talked about today and a little bit of advice. Stay tuned. All right, so I do have 2 final questions for you guys, but before we get that, we are going to take a little commercial break. So I'm going to take a little time to pay to a fake sponsor and a real sponsor, as we'll be right back after these commercial.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Blaise Brew proudly brings to you Eliminator Beer. Don't get eliminated, get obliterated. Drink Eliminator Beer. Comes in a wide variety of flavors and colors. Available now at your local liquor stores, beer distributors, grocery stores, gyms, hairdressers, gas stations, restaurants, doctor's offices, pubs, bars, brothels, strip clubs, and street corners. Eliminator Beer, get one now. You won't be disappointed. You'll be shit-faced drunk.
Hey, guys and gals. Cassie here, reminding you to stop into the Red Lounge. We're open 24/7, 365. So come in. We're the only place in town where every story has a guaranteed happy ending. You're watching Leaning Towards Death Wrestling with your boy, Blaise McCoy, on the Blaised Radio Network. Make sure to check out all of his shows every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. He's putting the unity back in community, right here on YouTube.
This is a recording.
Please hang up and try your call again.
Hey, B, no way a little dude like you is gonna change my ways.
It's time you were tempted with a taste of nuts and honey.
Hulk Hogan doesn't eat nuts and honey.
Take this. An unbeatable part of this nutritious breakfast.
That's better than a body slam.
Undefeated.
And still champion.
It's a honey oven oat, it's Fun Nut Cheerios.
The Battle Royale place that comes complete with 6 figures, referee, and official wrestling ring from Remco.
Yeah, baby. And my favorite ones of all time.
You know how much that outfit would be worth right now? That little collection that was on screen at the end.
I have all of them.
A lot.
You have all that?
I have all but Bockwinkel. I don't have Bockwinkel and one other one. I have almost every AWA Remco from 1985.
You got the ring?
I do have the ring, but it's the poles are messed up.
Kind of rough looking. It's still probably worth a grand.
I was the guy who I would put 3 of the plastic rings together and put a triple cage in the middle, and I would call it the 3-ring circus. They had all those other 3-ring, 2 rings, and triple cages, so I put it all together. LTD had in the EFED world triple 3-ring circuits. You started on the side rings, and the idea was to beat the team on the side rings, make it into the cage, and then the upwards fight started. So it was 3-ring circus. And I wanted to try to be creative like all the weird shit that they were doing too. But so is the creativity of us content creators in wrestling video games, right?
Yep.
I always say I'll grow old, but I'll never grow up. I'm going to be a kid at heart. And it's amazing. I get a little emotional thinking about it. I mean, surrounded by video games and wrestling and doing what I do here with all these people, I'm just blessed to have met all you people and to be able to do this. Big shout out to Gamer Nation. Been a while since I've seen you, my friend. Welcome back. But it is a blessing to be able to understand that I have that power to bring people together and to get good word out there. So what I want to do here before we do our final thought, which when you do your final thought, you have to start it with at the end of the day and then say your final thought. But before we get that, and we'll start with Vince on this one. The final question for the night is, what advice would you give to a new or growing content creator?
A lot of it would just be what we've been talking about. You have to do something that you like. If you're trying to appease others, if you're not happy, nobody's going to be happy at the end of the day.
Amen. At the end of the day.
I get people So I get people all the time, hey, I wish you'd do this again. And I did it already. And I'm bored with it. And if I keep doing it, it gets old. And it's already old for me. I need to freshen. And if it wasn't for Hal Haney, God bless the man. Because I was going into this season really I didn't have a real goal. I was just going to get through it. I figured the game's going to suck anyway. And then I see his artwork, and
I forgot to cover this with you, Vince. So please elaborate. Vince right now has taken someone's artwork and created a federation out of it. I don't know the whole story. I wanted to know till now. It's really cool. You got to check it out. He just had the debut. Was it yesterday? HCW, right? So he started yesterday. It's all someone's content that they drew, and he turned it into a federation. So tell us more about what this is, Vince, because it's a very unique, very cool situation.
Well, Hal Haney is really the guy that gets all the credit for this. He's a really talented artist. And I'll tell you what, you go to if you go to at Hal Haney, HANEY art, it'll take you to his Twitter page. It is mind blowing. Then from there, you can go to his Etsy account and see some other stuff he's done. Amazing artist. Okay. And he does cartoon style, creates his own wrestlers, okay, and he's got this lot, and then some that a lot of famous ones as well. I just got 2 prints now. I got to put them up on the wall later.
There's a link in the chat. There's a link in the chat to his debut. Perfect. Make sure you check that out. That is the show that he just did. Now, tell us some of the because this is like, I mean, they have drawings of the character, and do you have like background of the character too?
He does it on almost every one of them, and they're so freaking good.
What are the names?
So, for example, you got these 2 guys that are kind of like Road Warrior ripoffs in a little bit of a way. I'd say they're a cross between the Road Warriors and Harlem Heat. And they're twin brothers, and one of them has an eye patch and says, well, he's had some unusual sexual contact. That's all we're going to say about the eye patch. Stuff like that. I mean, the guy, and I'm sitting here, but he's banging
my type of humor.
50 of these a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you coming up with these looks, these names,
very colorful
backstories?
Yeah.
And it was just announced yesterday. I've known a little longer, but it came out yesterday that Sam with Ultra Pro has hired him. Those characters are going to live in Ultra Pro.
Oh, cool.
What I wanted to do with them, though, and funny thing is, when I got a hold of Hal and said, hey, do you mind if I use your stuff for what I'm going to do in 2K23, and he was cool with it. I didn't know, because at that point I thought that he had talked to Sam and it didn't quite work out for whatever reason. Like, it sounded to me like Hal had his own plans for a video game, and that's what he's creating for. What we normally see with somebody who's doing this type of artwork is like these things. Okay, these are real guys and girls that exist, and make them kind of cartoony. Yep. I'm doing it reverse. I'm taking your cartoon, and this is what he might look like as a human in 3D. And I'm having a absolute fucking blast with it.
But it's like, tell us some of the names of the characters, because like there's some really cool names. Like, it takes me back. Just hearing the names makes me think that's old school creations from like characters from like 80s and shit. Like
100%.
The one you were doing today, the female had like the pink and the fire down the legs and real cool creations.
Yep.
There's Pete's last show as well. Make sure you guys check that out. Both of these guys, phenomenal stuff.
If your ears aren't too sensitive, there's a lot of coverage.
But I mean, the idea of taking someone's drawings and stuff and bringing it to life is very unique, I think, and that's cool.
Again, if you look at these drawings, so he's got the Blarney Bruisers, the 2 Irish guys. You got Finn McQuinn and Gargoyle Doyle.
Doyle.
And I'm just looking at these guys, and especially Gargoyle. It's like, wow, look at the look. He's got that little like missing link tuft of hair up here and stuff. But I don't know if I pull all that off. Turns out there was a hairstyle in there that has not a tuft of hair, but like a little sweep over.
Yeah.
Not close enough. That works. And then he's got the logo from Guinness Beer on their singlet. Nice. That's all right. So I got them going. Good. Then you got Hot Rod Johnny Dalton, which is like a Danny Zuko.
Good name. Yep.
One of the people's favorites, a lot of people, is this Aguila X, which is a Rey Mysterio-esque type guy.
There's a blood something. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, Thurston Blood.
Thurston Blood. That's a great one.
Favorites.
Cool. So very cool character.
His skin tone is that of a black and white horror movie, but then the trunks are regular with red blood dripping down them. And he had this thing with the illustration where there was like a real deep indent on both sides of the forehead coming down. And I'm like, how am I going to do that? And I basically just shaded it the same way he did in the drawing. And it fucking worked.
Sweet.
It looks awesome. I'm loving this thing. You got Otto von Eiskalt, which is a German dude.
We were talking about you earlier, Chance. Were your ears burning?
The one we were doing today, you were asking about was Hamura Shinzo. And she kind of has like a Natalia Hart thing going on, a lot of pink and heart
fire
patterns
down
and stuff like that.
Down the boots, down the side and stuff. Like, I mean, that's out of the box stuff. Like, yes, I've been doing the same thing since 5 years ago when I started. However, you know, I have a forbidden door that I've been using in 2K19. I'll do fantasy action wrestling where that's basically free for all. You guys in the chat, pick a dream match and let's have it and just have fun. So, and I mean, I asked Vince to give some advice, and it's great advice from a man who's been doing this since YouTube freaking basically started. Here you go. There's some of the characters.
Oh, that is so fucking
you'd love it. You'd love it,
this
Pete.
Guy's
they're so cool.
That is top of the line shit right there.
Yeah,
Holy
and
crap.
and I gotta blow smoke for Vince too, because he's duplicating
That is
these.
awesome.
Now that's his artwork, but then the original characters, you're doing a hell of a job duplicating those and going in and really making it look the same, you know, that you did. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I always tell people to try to be unique and try to learn from other people. So, and one problem I had, because I don't mind explaining things I did wrong before, I was stuck in a groove of just doing one thing. And sure, if that's your thing, that's good. But to grow on YouTube, you got to get a little more diverse. I don't think you're going to find anybody out there that does pro wrestling, gaming, and gardening in their YouTube channel. I'm probably the only one, motherfuckers. But that was just something that I did every year. And I'm like, I wonder if they'll give a fuck about me planting food and hoping it grows. So that's what I do every year. And I asked them last year, you know, at the beginning of the spring, what do you guys want me to grow? I'll go buy it and we'll try it. We'll watch the progress of it dying and not working. So I had fun with that. This interview series, this is a dream come true. I said it at the beginning of this show, and I definitely mean it. To be able to find my favorite content creators, friends of mine. You guys are more than just content creators. I've known both of you for at least a few years now for both. And, you know, people that I can go to if I have a question, either one of them. People that I can go to if I have an issue and I just want to talk to somebody. It's not all about what the person puts out as far as content, because you got content on every fucking social media platform out there now. People making millions off of dancing and doing charades and cheerleading fucking moves and shit. So it's not all about the product. It's about the people. That's what I always say. And these two guys are an exemplary example of, you know, not only being sort of humble about it. I mean, we can be dicks, all three of us, if we have to be. I've seen them both do it. They're very good at it, much better than me at being a dick than I am. And that's fine. I try to be as positive as I can, but that's like the caveat that I have. They always have people, you know, pulling me the other way and making me realize things aren't always as good as it seems. And I do give the benefit of the doubt too much sometimes and to a fault, but that's me. I'm not going to change who I am, how I am, and what I do for fucking nobody. And that's what I've learned on here, to be more confident that no matter what I do, I'm just going to be me. I was weird about, you know, hey, I'm a bald-headed dude with a big, huge nose and big ears, but you can't make fun of that because it's been done too much. I'm just going to play along. So, I mean, get thicker skin, have fun with whatever you do. I think we all agree with that. But before we get to the final questions, let me ask you the same thing to Pete. What advice would you give to a new or growing content creator?
Whew. Yeah. See, I've given this advice in the past.
Yep.
You know, and
a lot to me too.
And you covered a lot of it. I'd have to say, new channels, you're going to suffer the trolls.
Yeah.
You will. You're going to have them come in. They're going to shit all over you. You don't have this kind of thing going. You don't have that kind of thing going for them.
Boring.
Or they'll just fuck with you. Leave it alone. Or you learn to just twist it on them. Amen. And those guys will usually end up either subscribing or they just leave quietly. You know, surround yourself with good people too. Have good moderators in there to deal with the shit.
Amen.
You know,
we talk about that.
If you got big tits, then you're okay.
Big tits is good too.
But don't focus on it.
Yeah.
If you're going to focus on it, they've got you hooked, and they, you know, they're not going to let go.
That's what they want to do.
Every show that you're in.
Yep.
So, you know, my only advice: don't suffer the trolls.
There's always going to be someone out there that wants to shit on your parade. There's always going to be someone out there that wants to ruin someone's fun because they can't do it, or they wish they could, or they were in there and they couldn't get along with everybody, and now they're on the outside. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing right now. When you got somebody who's shitting on you, go to their channel. Here's one thing you'll find all the time: they have almost zero content,
or absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah.
And I think Pete hit a big one right on the nail there. And I want to reiterate it a million times. And I can't tell you enough how much it helped me once I opened up and started talking to more people. Let me give Sean Shamrock a shout out. I wanted to be the guy behind the scenes. I never wanted to be on camera. I never wanted to bring anything about my personal life on here because that's mine. But there was a point in time where I had to let go a little bit and just be myself. And I learned that a lot from Pete as well. Don't let shit bother you. You know, we've been through personal shit that me and Pete have talked about in his life and my life that we've shared that, you know, we've had to overcome. That's the thing. Everyone that's on here has a war story. Everyone that's on here has an ailment or something that fucked up in their life that they had to overcome. It's not about what happened to you in the past. It's what you do with that for the future to learn and grow, meet new people, learn from them. I learned a lot today from YouTube, from the chat, and from things that I do that I want to do better. I get a lot of compliments, and I'm very bad at taking compliments. But I want to thank everybody out there who has complimented me because it helped me get my confidence back. I lost it for a long time for many reasons. And this gave me self-worth again to be able to bring people together, to be able to have fun with people that I've never met, and to let them be whatever the fuck they want to be and have fun with it. If there's issues, air it out. I learned that from Pete too, because I had issues with people and I hid it. And when you hide it, it's sometimes going to come out in your character. You're going to piss off somebody. Let that shit in the past. Fully either be the superhero you want to be or the villain you want to be in this stuff. Enjoy all the different channels. Get out there, man. If I wouldn't have got out there, I would have never found Pete. Once I found Pete, what did I do? I watched him and Tyler and Susie and Cowboy for 6 months before I did what I wanted to do. I studied everything. I went out and watched all these different communities, the trucker communities, the ticket scratcher community. You know, there's a community for everything here on YouTube. And I found people that some of them might not even be wrestling fans, but they want to come in and have a character because I'm bringing it to life and having fun with it. Or like Vince does, give you the shows that you wish you had on TV for your professional wrestling. More creations, more stories, you know, the matches you really want, less fluff, less bullshit. Keep in mind, we're putting in tons of hours behind the scenes before we go live. That's one thing a lot of people don't realize until they go live, until they experience it. You don't know the amount of work. Some people can just hit live and have fun with it. But I'm a very organized person. I plan things out. I contact people now more about stories and stuff to try to make it. I want to give you guys the best product I can. And it's not going to be the same as anybody else's. And I'm not going to please everybody else. That was my biggest mistake. If I'm going to give advice to anybody, it is don't try to please everyone. It'll never happen. And you're going to learn the hard way, losing friends that you thought loved you and were friends, or finding out people really are not what you think they are. And that's part of the game, man. That's part of the game, is trying to filter through all the bullshit and find that golden gem that is what you do to make people happy. And
is that how you look when you're playing with yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But people like Callie, who does her own show. Jesse does really good little 1 minute rewinds and stuff for wrestling and stuff. He's brilliant. Goddess has been phenomenal. She's we talked about her earlier. And happy 25th birthday, Goddess.
Happy 65th.
You're going to get a whipping on next time she goes out. You know that. Constructive criticism is tough. This is what Kelly always says at the end of her shows. She likes constructive criticism, but don't be a dick about it. I'm telling you, Kelly, one of these days, someone's going to be a dick about it just because you say that.
That'd be me.
Or me.
Called an open challenge.
So I'm going to ask this right now, and if you say no if you want to, but I'd like to revisit this in a couple months.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Same three, and let's talk about where the game went from now, right after the release, after a couple patches.
Patch update and the smoke coming out of your console.
And maybe we'll have some more shit to bitch about, and maybe we'll help someone out there, and maybe we'll inspire someone. I don't come here to inspire someone, but like Pete said, and like Vince even reiterated in his little story, when someone comes up to us, we may not tell you thank you or be able to, but we do thank you. Anyone who says, I enjoy your product, I think I could speak for all three of us. We really appreciate the people that come. We couldn't do it without
100%.
I mean, it makes it so much fun. And if
another thing I'll say, going back to your question,
please do.
Advice, it doesn't matter if there's one person in the chat or 20 or 50 or however many. Do what you do. Don't even think about the numbers that are watching.
Exactly.
Have fun with it. That's
do that after.
Draw the attention of others, because you don't give a shit about the numbers that are watching at the moment or watching later on. You know, I go in with that mindset every time I hit the live button. You know, I don't give a shit if it's one person starting, you know, for at least like 20, 30 minutes. It's me going straight forward, right through it all. And everyone knows that watches my channel. I let it all out. You know, I'm yelling like from the beginning right to the end. So
I have to blow more. I have to blow more smoke. You never know. And it's for me too, for all three of us. We never know whose day we're going to change by the content we're putting out. 90% of the time I'm miserable. I got all kinds of health issues I deal with. I don't feel like doing a stream. And a lot of times I don't tell you guys because I don't want people to know, but when I go live, it all goes away. I mean, it's like you go into the zone. You've done it so much now. I mean, I totaled it up, and with my FAW shows and stuff, I've done over 1,000 shows here on YouTube. And that is 2 to 3 hour produced shows. I'm not a pat myself on the back type of guy, but every show I've done, I've had a match card. I put it on the website. We're sharing, and people don't realize, share it to Facebook, share it to Skype, share it to Twitter, share it to Instagram, share it to community page. You got to do the legwork if you really want to grow. If you're happy where you're at, I told Pete and Sean, and I think Tyler and Cowboy John 6 years ago, I wanted 50 subscribers and 25 different people to watch my show. That's all I wanted. If I could have over time 25 different people and 50 subscribers, of course I wanted 100 once I knew I could change my channel once I had 100. And then of course I wanted 1,000, but it didn't change my game until I hit 1,000. You know, it didn't change my game. I just kept doing what I was doing. And that's advice I give to anybody out there who wants to stream, man. Reach out to other people, be unique, learn from them, do whatever the fuck you want and have fun. So here's the last word from everybody. And like I said, you have to start it out with, at the end of the day, whatever your final thought is. So Vince McSham, you can plug something. We know 9 a.m. I'll plug it for you first. 9 a.m. tomorrow on the One Nation Network. Make sure you check out Vince McSham. You can find out more about that HCW and what he's doing down there. Very cool stuff. But final thoughts at the end of the day, Vince McSham.
Well, at the end of the day, as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, whether it's you content creator or whether you're watching your favorite content creators, because we both, all three of us, do both. Yep. We create, and I know we all have our favorites that we like to go watch.
Correct.
And it might not have anything to do with any of this. It might not even be wrestling related.
Yep.
There's so many different things. It would probably blow my. It's like I watch a lot of talent shows just to highlight bits, stuff like that, or whatever it is. There's this guy who does voices over animals. You know, like the animal will do something, and he'll give it a voice.
Yes.
And it's friggin' hilarious.
You ever hear Snoop Dogg do that? Snoop Dogg does that. His anime, his commentary is so hilarious.
This dude is called like Rockstar ROX, something like that. It's friggin' amazing the way he does it. And me and my girlfriend will get lost in his videos for an hour.
Have you ever reached? Let me ask you another question off the cuff here, Vince. Have you ever reached out to do voiceovers or anything?
Well, I'm gonna be doing that with Ultra Pro.
Yeah.
And funny thing, we just had a show where I work, collectible show, and this guy was handing out cards for a wrestling event going on tonight. But I already had this, so I didn't want to make the drive. It was a good hour with traffic. But he was telling me a little bit about his promotion, and I told him about what I do. And he was mentioning the fact that he'd lost his commentator recently. So he doesn't have a wrestling school. His people have already gone to school, and then they just show up and do his shows. So I told him as well, if you like what you hear, I've always wanted to do a live event, and, I got the channel. We can make a show out of it and actually get some eyes on it that way. They've got a YouTube channel apparently. So I had posted the card on the Twitter last week, as a matter of fact. So that's the company. I'll try and touch base. Well, I knew I wasn't going to make it out this week, but so yeah, I would like to do that at some point in time, even if it's only one show only, whatever it is. That's just one of those bucket list things to actually do it with.
Yeah, I've always, and I tell you right now, and I'll blow smoke again. People have told me for a couple of years that they like my voice, and it was tough to take. But Pete has a very good voice. You have an amazing voice, and I've always thought about maybe if I reach out, I'd love to do commercials. I do radio. I mean, I use my voice for anything just to get it out. Just like I did that stupid beer commercial that I made up. I mean, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy when I did the game show host. I'd love to be a game show host, like on your channel. That's me. I'd rather be the corny, wacky game show host. That's why I started doing that on some of my Get Blaised talk shows. I'll make it like a game show. And, I've always wondered, I'm not the type to bug a bunch of people. That's why, these interviews, I'm touching base with a lot of people that I've become closer with because, like we discussed earlier, you throw into people's DMs that are famous or, you know, big time people. They're not even going to answer you sometimes. And, you know, I'd love
nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not one to put myself out there enough is what I'm saying. I don't get in enough DMs to say, hey, I'll do a voiceover for you for free. Or, you know, I got other people asking me to do commentary with them, but I can't really string myself. I do enough right now where my health is pushed to the limit that I can't do too much. And I learned that the hard way a couple of years ago by streaming every day as much as I could, doing it. And I burnt myself out. I put myself in a hospital, you know, a couple of times, and I had to realize I needed to change what I was doing. So I do have limitations, but I'm just blessed to be able to bring this type of product to people. So one last word from you, Pete, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you hit that like button, just let loose. You know, just know what you're going to do and just go for it. You know, whatever happened during the rest of your day, forget about it for that little bit. You'll find it's a little bit more enjoyable. The people in the chat are going to enjoy it a little bit more, and interact with them. Don't ignore the chat. You know, there's different occasions. Like a guy like Vince McSham, I don't know how much interaction he does these days, but
he introduces me every time I show up in the chat. He's got a voice changer thing there. I love it.
Yeah, well, if you remember back in the day, Jesse would always send a shout out to Terry, Tyrell, and Jade, which I would later find out were his kids. Okay. But for years, we're like, who the fuck are these guys that he's always shouting out to? So when people come into a stream, I'll kind of do that.
But I mean, like, just have fun, cut loose, you know, just forget about the bullshit during your day. Make sure it's enjoyable for the viewers. Make sure it's enjoyable for you.
My wrestling podcast is called Wrestle Sense for a reason. It's because the definition behind that is everyone has a wrestle sense. Your sixth sense is your wrestle sense. Your sense on wrestling. If you're a fan, you can cheer who you want to. You can boo who you want to. You can like what you want. You can hate what you want. I don't really enjoy people that push the issue of what they think on other people, but we live in a world where kids say facts when they're just talking about their opinion. So today, folks, like whatever the fuck you like. Enjoy it, like these guys have said. Dig deep and reach out to other people. You don't have to be alone. These people say that the wrestling communities here on Twitter and YouTube are toxic only if you let it. You're in the wrong part of the community if you're in a toxic community. We're doing fine. When it comes, we know how to get rid of it, how to avoid it, I guess you could say. We do a pretty good job at that. So for Vince and for Pete, two of my favorite content creators, I think it would be cool, like in 3 months, to come back and be like, let's bitch about more shit that don't work on the game.
Yeah, and next time I won't be staring up.
Will you be staring down?
By the way, Pete wasn't smoking during the show. That was the latest patch update.
Yeah. No, that's an AEW exploding ring match.
No, that would be way too much pyro.
Yeah. So I'll leave you with this thought.
Hey, B, no way a little dude like you is gonna change my ways.
It's time you were tempted with a taste of nuts and honey.
Hulk Hogan doesn't eat nuts and honey.
Hulk Hogan doesn't eat nuts and honey, people. He eats nuts and butts. Have fun with it. I'm going to bring back the Legion of Dorks soon, and I'm going to do all 80s commercials. We're going to sit here and just chop up about old. I've always watched, I don't know if you guys remember Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, yeah.
When the guy with the two robots would sit there and crack on movies. I want to find movies that aren't copywritten that we could do that on YouTube here, because that would be so funny to sit here and just clown on some of the worst movies on the planet. I love that show. I laughed all the time at it because of the wit, the humor. And I always say my WWW is wit, wordplay, and wisecracks. You know, and those are what we do. We make fun of stuff. I always say everything you say or type in the chat can and will be held against you in the court of Blaise McCoy. You're damn right. You ask Pete, how many typos did we find? He typed blood once for his title of his show. For the rest of the night, it was blood. Pete, hey Pete, what's up with blood?
Oh my God.
People make mistakes and we make fun of it in a good way. Let yourself go, people. Allow yourself to be made fun of. Allow yourself to be clowned on. and then do it right back to people.
The whole female Pete voice, that's still fucking going.
Yeah, I made a whole song.
Yeah.
Vince, one time Pete says, I'm not going to do it. He goes, what am I going to do? Do this? And I recorded it, and I made a beat behind it because my DJ stuff. Like those 2 commercials I played, I made those beats. But I used his voice and made female. No, I'm not going to do female Pete voice. And then every once in a while, I'll play that on the show. It's good.
Nice.
I got a song where Chance is snoring. Me and Cassie and Chance were on a PS call, and Chance was snoring. Chris, he was. So I recorded it, and then I did an interview with him. So I'll ask the questions, and he'll snore and make weird noises, and I'll clown on him. So we got to have fun with it, man. Look, everyone loves female people. We need a Petra call. We really do. That's one thing I'm going to leave you on. At the end of the day, can we stop fucking saying call? I'm on a mission, man. I got Stompy and a bunch of other people saying digital wrestling. I know it's longer. It's too much to type. If you got to type digital wrestling instead of call. But hey, guess what? It's not even call anymore. It's Cass. It's create a superstar.
Well, Cass used to be create a story back when you fucking had it.
Well, here's hoping to a video game that caters to our needs sometime in the next decade. Here's to us being able to make fun of all the bullshit the game gives us.
I'm not making fun of it. It's fucking garbage, okay?
Yeah,
Plain and simple.
It is. I agree. So make sure you guys, if you haven't already, click on the description, subscribe to Vince McSham and Pete, Pillar to Post, One Nation Network, 2 of the best channels out on YouTube, 2 of the best dudes I've met here in the 6 years I've been here. I mean it. You guys are amazing.
Well, so are you, man. You do a great job with what you do.
We'll see you on the flip side, folks. Stay safe. Stay tuned to Blaise Radio. I might do Blaise's moveset online here soon, so we'll see. Who knows? I got to hurry up before Pete has another prison break. Peace out, guys. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned, and y'all just got blazed. Get blazed. Get blazed. Blade.